Yo, our producer said we're gonna have thousands of people joining us live today. So, I mean, welcome. So far, I see only 16 of you, but of course, we just started. Anyway, Vansh, Brandon Nakashima, Alexander Zverev. I mean, well, this is the match for you, right? I mean, this is
This
Brandon
is it.
looking for his best win of the best win of his career.
This is exactly, and also this is the first time we're doing a Brandon Nakashima stream, and he comes up in almost every single stream that we do when he's not playing. And now we actually have a, you know, first time that he's actually, and it's just so happens to be the biggest match of his career. So
You think
it could
it's
not
the
be more.
first time we're doing a stream on Brandon? Maybe, yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
could be. I'm trying to think, but yeah, I mean, 2023, of course, late in that season, he had the Challenger patch, so we weren't doing anything of that. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe it just seems like that to me because I watched like basically every match of his in that October 2023, February 2024 stretch. A lot of them live as well in that Derit and in Koblenz. So maybe that's why it seems to me like we would have done something, but yeah, maybe we haven't. I definitely remember watching the Rublev one in Barcelona as well, for example. But probably we didn't do that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I have some great memories from their 2020 U.S. Open clash. That was actually kind of when Nakashima was the hottest prospect in American tennis in a way, which maybe might sound funny to some people right now, but that was actually the guy that everyone wanted to check out against better opposition in August of that year or wherever the U.S. Open was played, really, because of course this was the weird pandemic season. You are muted.
I was just gonna say I remember the 2020 U.S. Open match really well in the second round, where he got that second set, and of course that was the year that Zverev ended up getting to the final and served for the match, served for the title. But also he played Zverev in 2022 Roland Garros when Zverev was at another peak in his career, and that was also a tight three setter. I think two tie breaks and a 6-3 set. So now this is kind of, and I think this is by far the best Brendan has played in his career, even though he already made a fourth round of a major in Wimbledon in 2022, and he was already like he finished that year inside the top 50. But I think this is the most convincing tennis he's played.
Probably, yeah. He's had an interesting journey for sure, falling out kind of maybe Umbert like in a way.
Yeah,
2021, 22, 23. Of course, Umbert also actually went on to reach like the peak of his career, the pinnacle of his career, at least for now, after coming back from a journey like this. And yeah, I don't actually remember the Roland Garros clash. I think he beat Kamil Majchrzak like a round earlier or two rounds earlier. And
yeah,
that was maybe around that moment when losing to Nakashima was gonna be like, well, it stopped being embarrassing to lose to Nakashima on clay, like sort of around that clay season. But I
yeah,
still remember being a little frustrated that Kamil is losing to Brandon on clay. But yeah, that US Open clash I do remember very well. I don't think anyone was really expecting Brandon to beat Zverev on the day, but I think he did very well, especially the backhand. Obviously, used to be like that massive trademark of his and held up so well. But now, I mean, we've just seen a beautiful point where Brandon is dictating with the forehand, actually generates quite a lot of speed and angle on it. And yeah, I don't think he has these weaknesses really anymore. The serve as well has gotten so polished up. So yeah, I do think he's better than ever. But will it be enough for Alexander Zverev? I mean, my guess is no.
yeah. My guess is no as well, but I definitely think he can really push him, and he's the way he's been hitting his forehand this entire year, but also like since more specifically post Wimbledon. He's been doing a lot of damage with it, like with the angles, with the depth, with the way he's been like controlling the center of the court. He's actually hitting the running forehand really well as well, and like also the way he's been using the slice backhand, like against Musetti. I have to say, like I've watched a lot of U.S. Open this in the first week, of course, but like one of the most riveting moments for me was just seeing that comeback from like love for fourth set double breakdown, and the way Brendan was just like able to get like the way he got the crowd involved, how like charismatic he was, like just engaging with everyone in Stadium 17, and then coming back all the way. Like he could have easily lost that fourth set, but he actually like hung around, stayed, and said he gave him some free points, like those three double faults in the 4-2 game when Brendan already got one of the breaks back, and then he just played a really great tie break and hit some really good forehands on the run. So yeah, honestly, this could be his moment, but he's gotta yeah he's got to figure out how to play that kind of tennis against Zverev, which is not going to be that simple, especially because of the discrepancy between Zverev's serve and Musetti's serve, and Musetti also coming off of a really physical second round match. So completely different matchup, but just the kind of tennis that he's been playing, I definitely think he has a shot.
Yeah, I'd say there are actually four tennis players who I would absolutely love Nakashima to win today. And that's Francis Tiafoe, that's Alexei Popyrin, that's Grigor Dimitrov, and that's Taylor Fritz. I mean, if Alexander Zverev gets eliminated from the bottom half, we just emerge with complete pandemonium and like no one knows what's happening anymore. So of course for the rest of the players here it will be a beautiful upset, but for Brandon as well, yeah, definitely the most impressive win of his career if he gets it. And yeah, that forehand improvement, I think I mentioned the two challengers that I watched him at live in 2023/2024. And especially when I went to Danderyd in Sweden, I remember just watching his match on like one of the, well, I can't call them the outside courts because it's an indoor venue, but like one of the less stacked courts, one of the courts with less viewing seats and stuff. And it was just maybe like two or three people watching a match from Brandon Nakashima in the first round. And I just remember thinking, I mean, yeah, his forehand is actually the dominant shot here. Like he's actually spreading the court with it. He's winning most of the points with it. Sure, it's really it's changed, and even though that season 2023 was kind of horrible for him up until hitting the Challenger Tour, actually, or maybe the Rune win in Shanghai. But I mean, Holger wasn't really at his best there either. But yeah, that was kind of what allowed me to see that, okay, Brandon has kind of become a different player by now. Of course, later on, he also had matches where like it was all about the trademark against Yevseyev in the second round, for example. But yeah, it was definitely quite an experience to see him in a venue like this. And well, a year later he's here, and he's going to be a great example as well to use, I think, in the years to come, in the sense that, well, he didn't really like cry about his situation. He went for it. He spent like a lot of time playing challengers, about half a year. I even remember having some conversations on Twitter with people who were like, well, why isn't he trying ATP draws already? Why isn't he trying to get to ATP qualies in like February last year, this year, for example, right? And I think he just did it very well. Like I think he balanced it completely right. Just play the 5 month, maybe around 4 months of challengers, so much rhythm, so much confidence back, and just build himself this nice cushion to fall back on if the ATP starts didn't go well. But of course, ever since Sunshine Double, they pretty much did go well. So
Yeah. Um, I can't remember. I mean, he also had a pretty good clay season again. He beat
yeah,
Rublev in Barcelona, pushed Echeverry in the next round. He lost to Hurkacz, I think, in the second round of Roland Garros. I want to say it was like a fourth set tiebreak. But yeah, and then pretty good grass season. So I would say like yeah, since I mean he also did well like post Australia challengers. I think he lost the challenger final, right? But he made the final and say he lost to like Rodionov or something.
he
Was
lost to
that this
Rodionov
one?
in
Yeah,
Koblenz. That was the event that I was at as well, and he also was in the semi-finals in Belgium in Montigny-le-Vaux-la-Neuve. He lost to Ridi, and he also won Tenerife over Martinez in January. And then I think he also played like Cherbourg, but I don't remember who he lost to. But it was pretty early. It wasn't that late.
yeah,
Um, yeah. But yeah, he made like three semifinals in a row, I think, and also combined with his 2022, 2023 late challenger appearances. I think it was like 4 or 5 semis in a row. Or no, maybe it was also with Canberra at the start of the season when he lost to Menchik in the semis, and then lost to Menchik in Australian Open qualies. But I think yeah, it was six challenger semifinals in a row, because he was also in the Danderyd final where he lost to Marterer. That's the other event I watched, and in the Bergamo semis he lost to Draper. So yeah, so many players, by the way, who were playing in that late challenger swing of last year are now playing in the early part of this year.
I think either I froze or Damien something happened. I think I am still here. I don't know where Damien. Okay, yeah, Damien left. I guess my yeah, Damien is coming back. Okay, cool. Let me just see. Yeah. So we're at deuce actually in this game. Second deuce. Nakashima actually saved a breakpoint, and now he hits an ace at deuce. So yeah, he has a game point here. I mean, he's getting challenged on his serve quite early on. Nakashima's serve this tournament has been deadly. Yes. So my internet, my stream is buffering quite a bit. So I might have to change this. Apologies. So I'm not really able to talk about the match right now. It appears that Brandon held. I missed what actually happened, but yeah, Dimitrov and Fritz. That was a roller coaster. I mean, Dimitrov better player in the first set. Both players kind of came out pretty tight. The roof was closed. Fritz, or sorry, what am I talking about? Dimitrov. We're talking about Dimitrov versus Rublev. So Rublev plays a pretty shocker of a game early, gets broken. Dimitrov kind of holds, but I don't think either player was playing their best in the first set. Dimitrov wins at 6-3, has some chances to go up a break in the second, doesn't take it, and then his level kind of dips. He double faults 3 times in a row in one game, and Rublev essentially breaks himself. Rublev serves for the first set. Dimitrov does really well to come over his backhand on a few second serve returns, and then plays a really awesome tiebreak from 3-1 down. And so he's up 2 sets to love. But then all of a sudden, Dimitrov's serving issues come back, and then it's 2 sets. All I thought that the second set was key in that match because if Rublev wins that second set, complexion of the match completely shifts. But just that Dimitrov had that 2 set cushion, I think it was enough that even though he had some severe level dips in the next 2 sets, he could actually completely turn it around in the fifth. And yeah, I mean, Rublev played a little bit of a sloppy game in the fifth as well. So I thought Rublev was a better player for 3 out of the 4 sets, but he only won 2 of them, and sometimes that's the whole difference, really. But big opportunity for whoever in that section. I mean, I'm looking at Tiafoe to get the win over Popperin. Although it's probably not that. Tiafoe's not going to be a heavy favorite there, but
Yeah, I think for betting odds, I think Tiafoe is even the slight underdog. But yeah, I mean
yeah,
he's got the swagger about him at the US Open,
yeah,
definitely. Now he's just gotta sort of make it work on the court as well. But yeah, he's been pretty excellent in New York the last like even 5 years. We can maybe go back to 2020. I mean, he's making the second week every time. Yeah, I do think that this is a big chance for him, but obviously this counts for pretty much everyone right now. Literally everybody in all these bottom half, even top half sections besides Sinner Medvedev is looking at this as like a massive opportunity.
yeah, definitely.
And yes, indeed, the producer was right that this, for some reason, happens to me quite frequently recently. That I start a stream, my internet goes out for like 2 minutes, and then usually it's fine all the way until the end. But it's happened to me like third or fourth time now. I'm not really sure why. But anyway, we should be back. Did I miss anything? Was that third game pretty close?
Yeah, but unfortunately, I also missed some of it because my stream went out in the middle. But I know that Brandon saved a breakpoint,
Oh, okay.
so
But yeah, I mean, I agree with your feelings on Rublev Dimitrov as well. Like, let's say that match was, I don't know how long it was, but it was like 3.5 hours, and Andre was probably the better player for like 3 of them.
yeah,
But well, yeah, it happens. And definitely the second set moment, that 5-3 30 love
Mm.
opportunity he had to close out, like that's kind of the story of the match to me. Of course, Grigor still needed to win the fifth, but yeah, it was a bit of a scummy win from him. But he'll
Yeah.
take it, and well, he is also one of these guys who like might not get another chance like this. I mean, he's 33, as good as he's been over the last 2 seasons. You never know. And he actually hasn't been in a slam semi for 5 years. So if he can beat Tiafoe or Popyrin, where, well, he has like a 50-50% chance at least, that of course would be absolutely massive for him too. There is one guy though in this half that I think he just cannot beat.
Dimitrov?
Yeah,
I mean, is there? Oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah, you're talking about Medvedev or
No, no, in his half.
oh, in his half. Oh, yeah, that is true. And he's playing right now against Brandon.
Exactly. Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think Grigori will be desperate to see Zverev eliminated either by Nakashima or Fritz. Like that's kind of what
yeah.
he needs to potentially make the final here. But if it happens, the opportunities are really there.
But he did beat him in Miami, so
I
I guess
know, but
that is the one that he can match on to.
sure.
But of course, last year they had a pretty memorable match for about 2 sets at the US Open. Is that the third
Last
round? Yeah,
year
that
was
was the third.
not a good match for. Last year was not a good year for Dimitrov in the Zverev rivalry,
Right. Yeah, lost him in the French and the US.
and was drawing him every single time virtually on the. I mean,
Mm.
during the North American slash Asian swing, just kept running into him and kept losing as well.
Now, did you see any of Fritz against Ruud? Because even in that match, Ruud was like the better player for almost 2 sets. Definitely like the first set and a half. And they were like these two break points that Ruud had, 4-3 and a breakup in the second set. But Fritz like was pretty clutch on his serve in that game, and then yeah, like there was a very crucial game at 4-5 in that set, and basically once Fritz got the second set, like he ran away with the match. Ruud had some issues like with like sweat and like he was like cleaning the area around the baseline like very often. Like he went for like a change of clothes. I honestly thought he would come back a bit stronger than he did, but he kind of had a very poor start at the third and then never really got going in the fourth either. So it ended up being much more straightforward for Fritz than I thought.
Yeah, I barely saw any of this to be honest. I am more or less familiar with the story. I probably even saw you tweeting about that. Yeah, that the first 90 minutes really where Ruud was dominating. But yeah, I didn't really see any of it. It was still the Manacor final and the what was earlier? Como final. So I was mostly watching that. And out of the two men's matches, I definitely preferred Dimitrov Rublev. So yeah, that's what I stuck with. And also, I don't know if we've mentioned this so far, but we have another match going on at the US Open right now, which is actually quite interesting.
Yeah,
Emma Navarro against Coco Gauff. And of course, Gauff lost to Navarro at Wimbledon. So yeah, I mean, it's a very close match in my book. So
yeah, definitely. Navarro and Brandon both went to UVA, so they're both playing at the same time right now.
and Ghosty and Dave also talking about Navarro a little bit and Coco being already in trouble.
Yeah, 3 set points already for Navarro. Go up 6-3. Of course, Coco did also drop the first set against Svitolina in that
Yeah,
match. See if she can do it again.
she's definitely looking like very far from a title contender. It's rare to see Coco Gauff in a Grand Slam fourth round and you feel like there's like 0% she wins the title. And that's how it is right now. So I don't know. We'll see. But it would be like it would have to be like a couple of really tough, gritty wins, and then suddenly there's that spark again or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of rare to see her being very much not in the center of attention, because
Yeah,
I think everyone just expects her to lose at some point. Like there's
that was
really
a very poor set from her in terms of errors. She made 21 unforced errors and hit 5 winners. And
and
this
I
is
think
against
that that's kind of how she's been playing the whole event, right? I mean, she hasn't really been like pressured at the forehand just like you usually see it, like Navarro did at Wimbledon, for example. But it's just more kind of like the regulation ball on the backhand isn't really as
I feel
consistent
like the
as usual.
backhand is missing a lot more than it
Yeah,
was last time. Like she missed a ton with it against Svitolina for like almost 2 sets.
it's kind of the main traits of her game that are currently failing, rather than actually sort of her technical flaws or something like that coming into the discussion. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, she beats Navarro. She's in the quarterfinals. She'll be one of the 8 players left in the draw. So obviously, it's not like her chances at winning a title are actually zero. But yeah, she's definitely not kind of mentioned as one of the top dogs right now.
Yeah. We also had Paula Badosa win very comfortably against Yifan Wang. And she's just kind of continuing her really good level since Rome. She seems like the favorite to me right now to get to the semis.
I mean, I thought she was the favorite to get to the semis before the event, so not much has
Yeah,
happened since that would change my idea there.
yeah.
But
She did
I
have the
mean,
same match points in the third round, so it
against
was
Rusa,
really
it was
close.
tough. Yeah, against Rusa,
Yeah,
it was tough. And it's actually pretty funny because Rusa was looking like, I mean, she was out talenting Badosa on the day.
yeah.
Makes you think, maybe more makes you think about what sort of player Rusa can be on the day, on her day, rather than maybe something negative about Badosa. But the truth is that Badosa like did not exist for most of that match. So well, but of course, yeah, she picked herself up with that win over Yafan Wong today. Who is she playing in the quarters? Badosa, I mean, go for Navarro, right?
Yeah, no, no, no.
Yeah. So I think I had Badosa over Goff in the quarters, or maybe over Navarro. I don't remember. Maybe Badosa over Goff.
I think I might have had it over Navarro because I picked Svitolina to beat Goff. I wasn't even
Ah,
sure if
okay.
Slow was good enough to beat Svitolina. So
Yeah, I definitely didn't go Svitolina, but I either went Navarro over Goff or Badosa over Goff. Definitely Badosa for the semis. Well, pretty uninspiring affair so far. I mean, Zverev just holding easily
yeah,
backhand
not,
into
not
the
much to
open
talk
court.
about really. To the first 6 games apart from that one breakpoint.
Kinda had to be like this. Like Nakashima plays a bit more of a serve-oriented game right now than he used to, maybe, and that's also gonna be a factor here.
He's like one of the best surfers in the world. I think like eighth or something in ball percentage this year. Just pretty.
He has improved a ton. I don't know if it would be one of the best servers in the world. I don't know. There's this coach that kind of worked as a consultant with Kovacevic, and that I know on Twitter, and I know he mentioned like a lot of times that Kova is like one of the top 10, 15 servers in the world, one of the best 10, 15 forehands in the world. And I mean, you guys know I love my Kovacevic, but like, yeah, I think that's a little bit of a biased opinion. I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch to put him in that sort of tier, I think, and it's actually showing in many of his main tour matches. And yeah, Brandon is one of the like top 10 servers in the world now, but it's improved a ton. It's really changed up the dynamics of his game, I think.
Yeah. I mean, against Rossetti, it was just very striking how like the serve quality was so. There was a big like serve quality disparity there. I think he hit like I want to say like 17 aces, something like that. It was a pretty high ace rate. I'll have to double check, but Yeah, he just got like a ton of free points in some big spots in that match, particularly when he was coming back. Um, mm, I think the slice is going to be a very key play as well here. Try to get Zverev coming inside the court on off of shorter balls. Cross court, I mean, Zverev's done a good job this year of like just coming in and anything short, like running around, hitting forehands, coming in. I feel like he's doing that a lot better than previously.
And yeah, Ghosty, I did see the pelvic thrust, as you called it, celebration from Poperinda and Sabalenka. That's for sure. What if Nakashima surpasses Rune and Musetti among the young guys? Is that a possibility?
Ooh. I mean, where is he at right
For
now?
the sake
He
of
is.
Holger Rune, I would hope not. And I mean, Musetti right now is like at the very peak of his career so far. So,
He's at like 39 in the world right now after the Mercedes
but he
result.
did just beat both of them. I mean, we have to note that obviously.
Yeah.
And it is noteworthy. However, we have a 15:30 here after Zverev played that great pass. But don't worry, he's going to shank a forehand on the next point.
Who do you give a bigger chance as far as the upset goes? Do you give Nakashima a better chance than Zverev against Zverev, or do you give Paul a better chance against Sinner?
I didn't see anything from Paul Diallo, and I heard it was like absolutely abysmal.
It was. It was. It did not give me any confidence that he was going to beat Sinner. Like
So
zero.
that kind of makes me want to say Nakashima. But like overall, I would say I would have said Paul if not for that.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't see that much. I'm only basing this on what other people told me. And as far as I know, I think there was also this tweet that kind of, or like, a video, part of the video from the press conference that went like kind of viral today with this journalist asking Paul the question in like just a pretty unpleasant manner, basically telling him that his performance
Oh,
was pathetic or
there
something like
was
that.
there was Matt Futterman. I know what he was getting at.
I'm not.
He
I'm
was-
not really angry at that. I'm more angry at the disrespect to Diallo as well there. But yeah, I mean that's what I keep hearing. That match was trash. So
By the way,
because,
Diallo was such a good mover for 6'8".
yeah,
Like he holds it pretty well in baseline rallies and
as I've said a few times, I think on the streams, like it's the Shelton vibe. When
yeah.
he wants to, he can be. He can just extend points athletically, no problem. It's just that he barely wants to, or
I feel
rarely
like his
wants to.
forehand can get better, especially on the return and also from the baseline. I feel like
Yeah.
that's an area he could get better at. But
I mean,
I was
he's
pretty high
always
on
been
him.
like extremely raw, and he hasn't shaken it off yet. Like I think ever since he left college, or even when he was still in college, like when you watched him, you could see that the tools are there, but that he's basically like still playing a caveman version of his game, and it hasn't changed since. Like he literally, I think the first pretty mature match that I've seen him play was here against Fields. So yeah, I mean, there's still time, but a lot of that raw factor hasn't really like gone off in the same way that I thought it would just earlier than that. But I mean, yeah, he's still progressing. He's still super close to the top 100, of course, right now. So I'm definitely not complaining either. And I mean, Tommy Paul third round was always going to be a tricky challenge for him, I think. Someone who's this fast, also very sound, like athletically, and yeah, just makes you play, takes time away from you, doesn't
Well, the
really
biggest
like.
thing in that match also was that I think Diallo got broken, or he was just getting broken so often because Paul
Mm,
was like Paul's performance, like from the back of the court, his forehand and his like kind of the way he lost his focus in the fourth set was poor, but he was returning really well. So that that was a part of his game that worked well. Like he was hitting these really good block
That
returns
takes
at
a
the
lot
same
of
time.
fire out of Diallo's game as well, if you can do that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
recently when he won that challenger in Chicago, he was not broken the entire week, for example, and
yeah.
that's kind of, well, serving well has to be part of his strategy for a match if he wants to win. I'm not saying it's the only thing. It's definitely not, but it has to be a fact. Well, maybe Brandon Nakashima can push for a break. Let's see. Zverev starts the game with this botched up slice approach, probably. But, well, because it was so mistimed, it's pretty hard to say what he was actually doing. But yeah, love 15 at 3-4. Maybe we'll see some nerves from Zverev. I mean, he hasn't been perfect this week, definitely not. But also still had opponents he was gonna manage against, even if they weren't like, well, even if it wasn't very clean.
He almost went 2 sets to love down against Zverev. Where he was down like 2-4 in the second set. But after that, we didn't see any of sets 3 and 4. But it looks like he closed after that. And it was pretty late in the night. It was like he finished at like almost 3 a.m.
Well, this is a shaky game from Zverev for sure. That love 15 forehand was on the line just barely, and well, pretty lucky in fact. And now he loses the next point as well, so 15-30. Easily could have been 3 break points down. But well, if the base lane game isn't quite coming along, you've got the serve to fall back on. At least he does.
I think I'm a little bit behind. I'm at 130 now. So
Dave, I think if Brad Gilbert said a nickname, it might just be his invention as well. Sorry. But I don't know. Avansh, do you think Brandon Nakashima has a Beanock nickname?
no, I don't know why. I think that was just it's just a background thing.
Brad loves his nicknames. Some of them are good, some of them are weird. It is what it is. Anyway, we'll have a breakpoint for Brandon Nakashima, and of course, it comes very late in the set. It could actually be extremely decisive. And he puts the return in play, and he'll get the break. 30 all, Djokovic, Jesus, Zverev double faulted
Yeah,
right into the
go
net,
big on the second set.
and then he puts a pretty good first serve in play. I think Nakashima gets to it, puts it deep at his feet. It's enough to make him miss. 5-3 Brandon. I mean, this is your moment. This is your challenge.
Yeah, this
Gotta
is it.
avoid doing a Rublev.
Yeah.
Is
So far,
Serena
he's
still in the
even.
stadium, lol?
Oh, yes, he was there for Grigor.
Yeah,
Like she was in Miami as well.
I'm sure if she showed up to support Brandon, he would win.
Yep. Just like we saw Ego play some of her very best tennis yesterday. It's really not watching. And then meeting Ego afterwards. So seems like they had a good moment. All right, let's see if Brandon. I mean, this first set is huge. If you can get this on the board.
There's a lot of baseline play in the first two rallies, in the first 2 points. That's not necessarily ideal for Brandon if he's kind of, well, I mean, he's not behind in this second point, but well, still, he has to power his way through from the baseline, and that's not going to be easy. And yeah, Zverev is just putting balls back in play in this game. And that is proving to be very, oh my god, very critical. But he's gonna be very critical towards himself as well after this point. Ow.
Well, looks like Brandon missed that forehand, and he did a good job opening up the court there, getting the deep return. But now he's down left 30.
Jesus, you're like a minute behind, I think.
Oh man.
I was already reacting to the next point where Zverev is gonna lose it in a pretty comical manner. Let me change the stream because that's a
Yeah,
little much. I was thinking it's like 1 point or something, and that's
yeah. Maybe after this set.
usually I can kind of steer it into like similar territory. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to swap for something.
Yeah, I just saw that it was 1 point. It was very played.
I'm ahead of the game, yeah. Not a good stylistic match for Keen. Was Ruth Fritz better for you? I mean, it's just what we have today at the Open. I think. And speaking of Nurlan's question about cavemen, yeah, if I was a caveman, which animals would I prefer to hunt? Probably animals that won't hurt me. So like ones that won't be able to do any damage to me, but are still, so like a cow maybe.
Well, Zverev was looking to hunt for a breakback. That won't do him really good because he just missed a really easy backhand at 15:30.
Yeah, that smash miss, that backhand. I mean, he was doing so well for like 2.95 of a point, but then the next two completely just crossed off every single good thing he's done so far.
Oh, Brandon coming in on the forehand down the line, which is actually pretty good, but he didn't do it quite enough with the backhand volley. So Zverev.
All right, I'm on a different stream now. That should be a little bit more with you, aligned with yours.
I feel like
I
Brandon
did not see the 30 all point, but you just explained it, so that's fine.
it's a good forehand approach. Could have done more with the volley and didn't do enough. Zverev gets a
Didn't
lob.
do enough as in Zverev passed him, or
Yeah, no, he actually went for a lob.
okay.
Brandon was made to hit a pretty tough backhand volley from there, but now second serve breakpoint down.
Yeah, I've got the breakpoint now, so of course Zverev is gonna be decelerating on literally every shot and just trying to
Yeah,
loop
he's going
something
way
in.
behind the base and just
Yeah,
making shots right now, just playing really
he's
passively,
making balls.
hitting for arrows. They're both going trading forehand cross. Now they're trading backhands cross. Brandon's trying to do something at least. He's trying to run around with the backhand. Uses forehand inside in. Now still trading backhands. Really long rally. Backhand slice from Brandon. Forehand inside out from the backhand down the line from Brandon, and it's a winner.
Yeah, you know who isn't just trading shots? Brandon Nakashima
Yeah.
slams that one. I'm still like 15 seconds ahead, but that's manageable. So that's perfectly fine. Definitely better than
19
the
shot rally, and the crowd was really into it after this. I have a feeling that Brandon got a lot more fans after the Stadium 17 match against City and the comeback in the fourth set.
I thought it was after this shot.
Yeah, no, I feel like coming into this match, he will have had a lot more support. Maybe.
In general, yeah, for sure. I mean, this people do enjoy him more now than 2 years ago. I think
I think so.
he's getting bigger wins. He's getting bigger upsets. Nakashima 2022 was a solid player with kind of like not much in terms of potential room for improvement.
Yeah,
Whereas right now it just seems very different.
yeah. He does really well here now. Deuce, and now he has a side point, so he's doing well right now. But let's see if he can put this set to bed. He does
Not
hit a
qu-
very
not
good
quite
post.
yet.
Yeah, not quite yet. It was a very good return from Zverev.
And this time he also attacks the forehand, so he
Yeah,
can do it. But of course, when he had a break point, he was just like determined to just throw in the weakest shots possible. I mean,
yeah.
obviously, making Brandon create isn't a horrible idea. I guess that's how he won the second point of this game, but it was just a little too much in the end, as we saw with Brandon
That strategy
actually
used to be
finding a
brilliant.
ball he liked, right, and blasting it.
That strategy 2 years ago would have worked. And Brandon has more weapons now. And I
That
think
strategy might still work for like large chunks of this match, to be honest. But we'll see. I
backhand
mean,
to backhand though, right here. So I just got a little bit more on that ball. And, it's a little bit.
well. I mean, of course, Nakashima cannot be missing just normal shots in rallies like this, but he is pretty brave on the breakpoint save.
Yeah, that was gutsy. A really nice backhand volley. Yeah, what a change up.
Not the easiest volley ever, definitely. The return was very fine from Zverev. So, but yeah, back to deuce.
Yeah, that is somebody who's been winning a lot of matches and has a lot of confidence. Do that on breakpoint. But this team is really challenging right now. Second serve. It's a double fault. Hmm. See, I felt like that break came so easily. It was like just almost too easy to be true. So this is a real test here. Breakpoint number 3. And he makes the first serve, but this time Zverev can't get enough on the forehand return. And 130. He also hit a better spot, so that helps. Who's the tattooed woman? I'm not sure. I didn't see that. I'll keep an eye out for it in Brandon's box. Trading backhand to backhand again in deuce. Nakashima actually hit a 131 mile per hour serve, but Zverev got it back again with decent depth. Now they're just trading. Both hitting pretty deep. Zverev going after the backhand on the line. Forehand to forehand now, but Zverev a little bit more aggressive, come forward on the backhand, and he hits a really good volley. So Zverev was actually playing offensive tennis in that rally. The deuce going after his forehand and coming in.
Not a big fan of this. I mean, I think Brandon should have seen or should have realized that Zverev is following this up to the net. And I think by the way he took the pass with the slice, he kind of just demonstrated that he wasn't aware of what's happening.
Yeah. Let's see if his serve can bail him out of trouble here on break point. Oh, and he does find a really big first serve.
Have you already seen that point? I found your comment very funny about the serve getting him out of trouble.
I think he didn't get broken against Runa or Kazal. So that was really telling of sort of where his serve is.
Yeah, the first two rounds he was not broken. He saved all 8 break points.
Yeah. The second serve here at Deuce. Backhand to backhand rally again. Some really long rallies in this game, but this time it's Nakashima who gets the better of the backhand to backhand. So another set point. Navarro and Goff, by the way, on serve in the second set. Navarro looking to hold for 3-all. Second serve for Brandon. Set point number 2. Kick serve to the Zverev backhand. They trading backhand cross courts. Nakashima going for the forehand inside in, Zverev going forehand cross. Trading again, backhands. Nakashima using the slice, giving Zverev a different look. Still trading backhands cross. Nakashima going down the line, forehand cross. Another forehand cross, and Nakashima gets the error because Zverev just sort of floated at that ball. And so now we're set for Brendan.
Yeah, I mean today we are going to find out if Alexander Zverev can beat Brandon Nakashima while avoiding to play tennis. So far, it has not worked for him. And yeah, 0 out of 5 on breakpoints in this set.
Yeah, and some courageous tennis from Brandon as well with the ace, and also the backhand volley.
The serve and volley. Yeah, good stuff. I mean, Zverev was kind of himself in this
25% of his second serve points, by the way, in that set. So doing really well in the first serve points one, but 25% on the second serve points. That's pretty poor. So
Zverev generally doesn't play too many second serve points.
Yeah. I don't know what his first serves in percentage was, but it's usually at around 70 to 75%. So at the minimum. Let's see what it was at in this first set. Yeah,
I'll check
it was 80%. Wow. It was 80%.
Oh, 80%, yeah. So.
Insane. Okay.
So yeah. So that 25% stat probably not that meaningful then. He only had 4.
Only 4.
I mean, yeah,
okay.
he only had 4 points. One of them was a double fault. So
I bet that came in the 4-3 game, though, I guess. So the game that he got broken.
The double fault, yeah, for the all. To set up breakpoint for Nakashima. To set up the only breakpoint for Nakashima.
Yes, indeed. So let's see if we get an all American quarterfinal. Then we're guaranteed to have one American in the semis.
Could be 3 out of 4 Americans in the bottom half.
By the way, crucial moment in the Goff Navarro match if you're watching 7th game, 3-all, 30-all, Coco serving. So
can we please switch over to the Tyson Kwiatkowski mixed doubles? He's still in the event, really? I wasn't even aware. I mean, I know that Donald Young is still in the event, and I will probably try to catch his quarter, but that's not today, I think. Also, there was something from... that's interesting as well from Keen. Normally, no player that's best shot is their two-handed backhand will be fun to watch. Arthur Ferry. How about
Lorenzo Musetti is fun to watch.
Two-handed.
Oh,
he says two-handed. Yeah. Aslan Karatsev.
Yeah. when the shots are going in.
Yeah.
Break point, by the way, for Coco and second serve.
Yeah, Andre is a nice idea as well from Ghosty. Do I ever
Break
watch full highlights of certain matches that I had missed, and am I able to watch them somewhere? You mean full match when I say full highlights? I don't really have full matches like access with any because I don't have any subscriptions really. Of course, Challenger TV, I do have that, but do I actually watch full matches, Nurlan? If it's something extremely important, like I remember, I don't know, there was a big win for Gonzalo Bueno in the Lima Challenger. I remember 2 years ago, and it was a big story. And I woke up and I watched most of the match on replay. But no, I mean, with all the tennis that we have going on, to basically 24/7, I very rarely catch full matches on replay. It's just something that doesn't really make sense timing wise, unless it's like really huge and I have to do it. But yeah, for main tour matches, I don't really have that option. So yeah, that's my answer.
By the way, we were talking about Kogo's strengths failing her and her just not having that much confidence in
Yeah.
what she does well. Her backhand, she went for a drop shot down the line on breakpoint down. Navarro gets there and hits a really nice winner down the line off of it. So she gets broken and she's 2 holes away.
And yeah, Keen, am I excited that the Donald Young title run is still alive? Actually, kind of, yeah. I mean, it will be fun to see him for the last time, even though for years he was a bit of a wild card merchant. And, well, I definitely had a bit of negative feelings for him at some point. But yeah, I am excited to watch that mixed doubles Kuev. And also, yeah, Karatsev has not been fun to watch for a while. Absolutely. He's only fun to watch when he's on. But
Yeah.
I think he definitely qualifies as a player with a stronger backhand who is fun to watch in his better version, his best version, let's say. I know there's like one more example that I'm currently missing right now, and I cannot. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but maybe it will come in a second.
Diego Schwartzman.
Nah. Korda maybe. I mean, that's not the guy I was thinking of, but Korda as well
Yeah.
is a fine shout, I think.
Emma
Like
Navarro.
exciting player with a better. Yeah, sure. Actually, maybe it was her that I was thinking about. Yeah, I think it was. I think it could have been Emmanuel Mikkelsen.
Yeah. It's another example.
Depends if you find him fun, exciting to watch. I think there's like, well, it's not like a clear guy that everyone will enjoy watching. So maybe that isn't that good an example, but I think he works as well. Yeah.
I mean, Schwartzman in his prime, I should say.
I've never really found him fun to watch. So
Schwartzman in his prime against Nadal at Roland Garros.
no,
That was a fun watch.
I never enjoyed that. So I can't relate, but sure.
Does Brendan have a higher ceiling than the American men currently in the top 20? Probably not, but
No. Who's in the top 20 right now? Korda, Paul, Shelton, Fritz, Tiafoe?
yeah,
No
no,
way.
I don't think so.
What? Wow. I mean, you're gonna be a little. I don't know. Maybe you're not. Maybe it's just me, but I am stunned. I think in about 10 seconds, you're probably going to be as well.
Oh,
It's very out of character, right? Like,
yeah.
Zverev trying to hit a frontal tweener like this.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I guess he wasn't expecting the backhand to be just straight down the middle of the court.
Yeah, but I mean, he was like still 3 meters behind the baseline.
Mhm.
There's enough time. I don't know. I mean, Zverev presently is not looking like someone who can win this slam. Is not even looking like someone who has a good chance of winning this match. Of course, we've seen him pull off performances like this. I mean, even in his 2020 final run here, I think maybe sometimes it gets forgotten how horrible he was against
He
Carreño
was so
Busta
bad against like
or against
most
Chorich.
players that he played. He
Yeah.
was pretty poor against Karina Busta and George.
It's basically just very good in the first two sets of the final.
Yeah, that's it.
And that was kind of it. I mean, maybe against Nakashima earlier, if we want to like go back to that part of the event, that stage. I don't remember who he played in the fourth round, to be honest.
What is the best match you think he's played in a major so far? Is it Carlos
Zverev?
Alcaraz 2022? Is it the Rafa match? Is it the Alcaraz match at the French?
Which Rafa match? Semis? No.
I think the quarters against Alcaraz probably.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
That's probably his best match that I've seen him play quality wise, like start to finish against an elite opponent.
Personally, I always say I know it's not a slam match, and that wasn't your question, but when we're talking about not a slam match, I always say Nadal at the ATP Finals.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
um, but yeah, at a slam, I guess it has to be Carlos. I mean, he only has like what 3, 4 wins against the top
Yeah.
10 for a long while. Didn't have one at
Yeah.
a slam, so I guess even like the pool we can kind of go from is not. Of course, we could choose a player like a match against a player who's not in the top 10 as well. But I mean, it is a factor, the quality of the opponent in this for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, who else did he beat from the top 10 Zverev, like at a slam, other than Carlos? There's definitely at least one more,
Road this year.
and that's
At the
it.
French. Rooted the French, Carlos twice, and
Oh
then
yeah, because Carlos already Australia as well. Yeah, that's where.
was Sinner top 10 when he beat him at the US Open? Probably.
Um,
Yeah, it was probably Sinner then. Probably Sinner last year US Open.
Zverev wasn't top 10, but Sinner
Yeah,
was, right?
I think
Yeah,
Sinner
I,
was.
I
Yeah.
think I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this would be the four. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, out of these, it's obviously Carlos 2022.
Mm.
Actually, this year's Australia, nah, I
Yeah,
guess
but
Carlos.
I don't think so. I think
Carlos
Carlos
just
was
played
one
too
good.
much into his
No.
into his hands. Like he wasn't really pushed. I guess.
Yeah, although he's pushing Brandon in this service game here. It was
Yeah.
40-15, but now it's a more complicated game.
I will say though that also it could have easily been that Medvedev match in Australia this year if he just closes it out like a normal person. And well, as you said, he is really pushing for it here. There was one shot in this rally from Nakashima that I thought was probably already out, but well, obviously the line calling is better than my eyes. But in the end, he still loses it. It's not much
Yeah.
that Zverev is doing like to cause these errors really, but again, just a little bit more discipline.
Coco, by the way, just broke back for 4-all, so not quite there yet for Emma.
Yeah, I just checked and it's 4-16 for Zverev against the top 10 right now at slams. And of course the matches we mentioned. Fritz as well, I think, got his third top 10 win at a slam today, but he was also on a huge run. He was on like 0-11 before this year, and now
Yeah,
has
because
three top 10 wins this year.
Tsitsipas Australia and then Zverev and Wimbledon, right?
Yeah, all three are this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a really good year for Fritz in the majors. I think he'd won that Musetti match back at Wimbledon, but
Yeah, of
apart from
course.
that, yeah.
No idea if he beats Novak, but it would have been one of his best shots that he's had at him so far. And yeah, just the fact that he hasn't been a semi, of course.
Another break point for Zverev. By the way, in the box, oh, the tattoo, the woman, someone was mentioning a woman with a tattoo, but I guess
Ghost, you were asking, yeah.
David Sanguinetti also has a tattoo on his arm, and that's
But
Brandon's.
probably, well, he's not a woman.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find who that person is, but I can't find that right now. But anyway,
Yeah, Davide Sanguinetti, a former top 100 player as well, about 25 years ago. Brandon also worked with Mariano Puerta for a while last year, the 2005 Roland Garros runner-up. A bit of a controversial persona.
yeah.
Due to, well, doping, basically. But yeah, Keen said something about the match stylistically not being his favorite. I can't say it's that exciting. But I mean, yeah, as it progresses, it's definitely going to be interesting to follow how the story here also builds up, especially now that Brandon actually has a set. But yeah, 7 breakpoints already wasted by Zverev. He's going to have his 8th. At some point, he has to do it, it seems. Gonna block his return in, and I mean, most of these rallies, this game, he's been winning when he's just like, again, just getting the ball back to Brandon and trying to get an error. Actually, quite a lot of slicing from Nakashima, and Jesus Christ, he will get the error from Zverev. So it's 8 out of 8 already.
I like the slice play. He has a very good slice.
Yeah, it seemed like he was getting quite a lot of control on it, despite like looking a little risky in how low it was over the net and kind of the angles as well. They weren't maybe like that obvious. They weren't that conservative, but yeah, looked very controlled in this point anyway.
Yeah.
And was
I mean,
also
he's like,
forcing Zverev to create a bit more because of that, right?
yeah. I know that he sort of worked really hard to make sure that other parts of his game, like the variation with the slice and coming forward, and like you said, like opening up the court better with his forehands. Like these are all things he's definitely worked a lot on. It's coming through in the matches, so that's good. Gone through quite a lot of coaching changes as well.
Oh yeah. Well, the counter is going to go up to 9 now. Again, Nakashima trying to get something out of that slice to the Zverev forehand. Zverev is actually hitting through them pretty well, though. That's actually these forehands, the last 2 points, like he's playing them better off the slice than off a regular ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that actually should suggest to Brandon that he should quit doing this. Probably not. I think the errors will come.
I think a free point on the serve would help. He hasn't gotten too many in this game.
Yeah, there's not much for free, definitely. It's again like baseline play. We're seeing Brandon cannot really attack. And at some point he will probably pay the price for it if that continues. And yes,
it seems like he was bound to take one of these at some point, so he does.
The count stops at 9. It was the 9th break point that Alexander Zverev takes, and he's up a break in the second set.
We shall see. By the way, Navarro, since she broke for 4-3, has not been the more steady player from the back of the court, and Coco has found her range a lot better. So it's going 3 sets, I think. Not yet, though. It's 15-40. And that's 7-point behind.
No, I'm just coming back to read some of the chat, and well, Nurlan as usual just takes me in a direction I never thought that I was gonna go. But I mean, do you feel like talking tennis to grow at an exponential rate? It needs someone with star qualities like Nurlan's. I mean, you're the co-founder. You're responsible for a lot of this, so I think we're growing at a pretty nice rate. I mean, at this stage, the top 10, top 10, 10K at the end of the US Open is still looking very much doable. It's about a 50-50. So I think we're growing at a fine rate. You on the internet, you like actually on stream, Nurlan, it would blow up the whole thing. It would, I don't know, just, I'm afraid of the consequences. I'm not surprised that our actual co-founder or actual founder is kind of afraid of that. Oh, probably he'll be back soon, I guess. Maybe Charger or something like that. Who produced the best tennis out of Lazarov, Kuzmanov, Andreev? What do you mean? Just like where? Lazarov, I mean, we only have a few Sofia appearances, right? And he's never really done anything at the challenger level, even. I think Andreev is the better player over Kuzmanov probably in the long run, but Kuzmanov, of course, has a very good understanding of his strengths, weaknesses, and kind of maxes out his potential much better than Adrian does for the moment. But I mean, Andreev was the junior prodigy. He's got the heaviest forehand probably, and yeah, I think he's definitely the guy with the highest potential there. Lazarov, it's a bit of a shame how his career has progressed, but
Well, Coco is taking the second set.
maybe another comeback on the cards. And maybe she just wins a few matches like this, and then suddenly, I mean, it wouldn't be that different to like what Swiatek did in 2022, for example, right? Just
Or like what she did last year before. I mean, the third and fourth round were kind of winning ugly for Coco last year as well, and the first round too.
Can you remind me the matches? One was Wozniacki,
Well,
and the other
first round already right away against
Zygmunt.
Seaman.
Yeah. That I remember, but the fourth round or
So fourth round was Wozniacki.
fourth round was Wozniacki, and third round.
Third round was it Martins? Might have been Martins. I think it was.
I didn't watch it. I don't remember how it went really, to be honest.
Yeah, kind of similar to yesterday against Svitolina, or the day before rather. But like she loses the first set, kind of not the better player for like a set and a half.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It was just the Washington, Cincinnati, and Toronto rounds, Montreal last year, that were telling us that, well, she basically is one of the top contenders, not her actual performances at the US Open to start the week. Yeah, that's true. Ghosty, when it comes to Haddad Maya, basically there was this video review thing against Kalinskaya yesterday, but there was a not up call called on a drop shot or whatever it was that Haddad Maya chased down. And well, basically they showed the video review for everybody in the stadium. They showed even like a picture of umpires sitting in a room and just watching the footage, and then they still called it incorrectly. And of course, Haddad Maya, despite also seeing the video, was just like, "Oh, yeah, I mean that's the call. I'm coming back." In fact, she never really even like said that. She just literally went to the baseline. I don't know. I wouldn't really blame her for the situation that much. I mean, they literally did the video review thing and still got it wrong, which is just unbelievable.
Yeah. That was crazy. I mean, they had like two people. Or was it two people in the room?
I think it was two people, yeah.
Manager.
I think it was two people, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they got to look at how that came off the record as well. Like there was topspin on it, which would indicate that it bumped twice.
Kalinskaya didn't even hit it, right? Like she missed it completely. She completely misread it.
I mean, if it had like backspin or something, then you could kind of make a case. But
yeah, and that's obviously like sometimes that would be very hard to tell. Like we cannot really use it maybe as the best judge for the umpires. But like you've got the footage, you've got the raw footage of Haddad Maya trying to get to that ball. It bounces off her racket into the ground and over the net again. And yet somehow there are two people, two qualified umpires who watch it, and they decide that actually, of course, this call didn't end the match. This call didn't decide it, but yeah, it's just a big story, of course, since the US Open is the first time we have this option, really. And well, first of all, it doesn't come up too often. We knew that it doesn't. But second, yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable that you can get it wrong like this. Like if I showed it to Joe on the street and he wouldn't know much about tennis, yeah, he could miss it. But two qualified umpires watched the footage and well, Brandon has to be a bit cautious here not to go down a double break and just completely kill his chances to win the set. Not that they look very good at the moment anyway.
By the way, I thought it was, although Konskaya was wronged in that point, I did think her effort the rest of the match was very poor. Like she just really like didn't fight at all the rest of the match.
I've heard that, yeah, I've heard that. Have I seen the famous video of Foreitek crashing forehands indoors with such a loud sound? I mean, there is a famous Foreitek video when he's like 12 and he's playing with that wooden spoon. But actually, Keen, his forehand is massive or was massive in the spring of 2000. Throughout the junior career, it was horrible. It was like the one thing that was keeping him from kind of succeeding in the pros right away. But in the summer of 2022, he started like really developing that wrist action, and he had a massive forehand for about 2 or 3 months. He was like even struggling to control it. He was learning to play with it because like literally throughout his junior career, it was the weakness, and suddenly it's the strength. And then he got that injury on like his elbow or something like that, and basically after that he just never really returned. But if it was from like around 2022, around the spring of that year, absolutely I can believe that he was crushing it. Ostrava, I was there in 2022 and he was just literally just most of the points it was either a winner or an unforced error from him, which maybe doesn't sound that impressive. I mean, that's kind of how it goes for big shots, but like considering how his game looked before then and how that was always the liability, it was a massive turnaround. And it's a shame that the injury never allowed him to keep showing it, really. I mean, since he's just a shadow of himself, especially on a physical level. Someone who's not a shadow of himself here is Alexander Zverev, who actually gets that second breakdown. There's a deep shot at Nakashima, then he actually converts a mid-court forehand to, and I said it 2 minutes ago, maybe, that the set is probably done if Zverev gets this game. It's very hard to see a Nakashima path to winning the second set now.
Yeah, that was she made a few poor errors though to go down from 40-30 to go down break points. So 8 unforced errors in this set. Zverev has obviously stepped up his game. So
I think he has, and there's like a lot of baseline play right now. There's really not much of an opportunity for Brandon to attack ever, and he's not gonna win this match like this. And it's actually like that sort of anti-tennis that Zverev plays. Like that's exactly what it's built for. Maybe Brandon should be seeking these opportunities more aggressively. If Zverev is playing his usual passive stuff, a couple of steps behind the baseline, like maybe
it sort of worked in the first set when Zverev hadn't found his rhythm yet, but now it's like since the 5-3 game, even though Brandon held, it's really been Zverev who's been like dominating on longer rallies.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Brandon already in that game had a lot of points he had to like really grit his way into, and still he had that serve volley. He had even that point that was that he lost for love 30. Like he was completely dominating it. There were signs of life that we don't really have here in the second set whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, well, we weren't expecting him to beat Zverev in 3, so. Did Karinskaya ask Haddad Maya to concede the point? I actually don't know. I haven't seen this live, only on video.
Yeah, I don't know. All I just saw was her walking back to the baseline, pretending like she's not aware. But yeah, in this situation, I don't know if I'd come down really hard on Haddad Maya. Just like I didn't come down very hard on Draper. I think it's more
Yeah,
about the
I'm
umpires who
fine with
were
it.
like sitting in the room and watching, and they still got it wrong. So
I think the Haddad
on
Maya
them.
case is actually more acceptable because, like, literally, they played the video review. So
Yeah.
if I have like even an ounce of uncertainty when I'm chasing the ball down, and they literally tell me that, umpires watched this and like the video review, am I really supposed to like doubt the video review? There's VAR in volleyball or in football. Like if the umpire comes in with the incorrect call, you probably just assume that, I don't know, they're probably right. I mean, they watched the video, right? I don't know, or maybe just Hadat Maya knew instantly, and maybe she just, well, doesn't have morals. I don't know. It's, it's a tough case, but yeah, I wasn't really paying any attention honestly to her in that video. I was mostly just like unbelievable how they didn't get it right, the umpires.
Yeah.
Was that the first? Probably not the first video review, but like what? Probably the first that really made headlines
Yeah.
so far at the U.S. Open.
Yeah. I think there would have been a couple others, but like I don't know which match and at what stage they didn't go viral. So like this.
Above? What are you talking about, Keen? That's the forehand that went viral above? I don't know. Sounds like you maybe like sent a link or something, but I don't actually see that link. Anyway, that's not the point. Anyway, Zverev 5 love, indeed. And Goff Navarro, that's still of course a very thrilling match as well.
Yeah. Navarro, by the way, with a break chance or ninth of the match, would put her up a break in this third set. So she has a second serve here. See if she takes this chance.
So
No, she's going to shank a forehand on the second serve return. So we're at back at deuce.
I was just gonna say that the runners up from last year, Bopanna, Ebden, are down a set to Gonzalez Molteni 1-6. But yeah, not the biggest upset possible, I think. Given Bopanna, Ebden.
I remember Emilio Nava. Who did he play doubles with this tournament? I feel like they.
Tristan Boyer, yeah.
Oh yeah, him and Tristan Boyer. Yeah, they took a set off of.
They're still in the event.
Oh, they're still there. Okay.
They won 2 rounds.
Somebody good, right? Did they beat somebody good in the first round? I haven't been following the doubles at all, so I'm asking.
They beat Jesus. I was writing up something for that match. Gonzalez Roger Vasselin. And then they also beat Cash Galloway, which is, I mean, both of these wins
that's two very good teams right there. So
yeah, both of these wins are are insane. So I'm very surprised that they're still in the event. Now they're gonna play Skapski and Venus, so probably gonna lose. But well, they were also supposed to lose in their last 2 matches. But yeah, I'm actually quite interested in the doubles event. I think I will start watching it a lot after the quarters, maybe, or like since the quarters. I was trying to say there's a lot of good storylines. I mean, mostly Ram Salisbury, of course, going for their 4th title in a row. Like that would be just an incredible achievement. And also
Yeah.
the Granollers Zeballos title watch is there pretty much at any slam. It would be just such a travesty if they end their careers winless, slamless.
Yeah.
I think tomorrow Dodik Pavlashek Arevalo Pavic is also going to be an absolute cracker. I mean, probably the best pair of the season against Dodik Pavlashek, who are just starting their partnership, but it kind of sounds like the elite partner that Pavlashek was looking for, as in, like, he was emerging playing with Behar, but it seemed like he has to find somebody who's like even better than that and then can match his game as well. And maybe Dodik is the guy. And yeah, lots to like, I think, especially tomorrow. Today there was just a couple of easy matches, like for Granollers Zeballos, for example, so I guess not that exciting yet. And yeah, definitely catch tomorrow's mixed.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Young and also Ebden and Bopana facing each other in the mixed. That's quite fun too.
Yeah. Somebody who's not having fun right now is Coco, because she just double faulted and breakpoint down. So it's Navarro who's up a break in the third.
She was also 4-3 with a break, right? In the
Yeah.
second set.
That's right.
So it's not quite Wimbledon, but she still is in a winning position, or at least close to it.
Yeah. Well, I think Brandon can start thinking about the third set now.
I think honestly, if not at love 4, then at love 5, I think you start thinking about the third set. Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's a chance, I mean, if it pops up, of course, you should be there to take it. But it does seem like a set where Brandon will just be kind of, okay, it's gone. Not much has happened. Nothing ventured, nothing gained in a way. And yeah, just I have to keep going. I mean, who won the match like this just recently, this US Open? I guess maybe he didn't actually win, but Dimitrov today, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Dimitrov today in sets 3 and 4. I was thinking about Kashnikovsky Martinez as well in the first round. Like Max in sets 2 and 3, he just wasn't there. He was like completely crashed. And then he suddenly finds new intensity, almost wins it, despite losing like 25.
Menchik almost yesterday, if he had closed out the fourth set with the match points.
Because of the second set.
Because he had the second set where he just...
Sure, yeah. Like, it's actually very common in Grand Slam play. And I guess this is also one of the arguments for Ben Rothenberg, right? That,
Federer versus Nadal, 2019 Wimbledon. Djokovic versus Federer in the final. All examples.
Yeah. Federer Nadal might be like the most classic one, actually, like the one that makes the most sense, even because, well, you've got that last couple of games which Roger basically tanks in that second set and comes up with a completely different mindset in the third. And yeah, that's actually one where I can kind of, I guess, relate to Ben's the everlasting battle for the best of 3 format. In that,
he just won't let it go, really.
Yeah, but like you cannot allow yourself for something like that in the best of 3 format. That's true.
Yeah.
I still think that the classics that the best of 5 play brings for us, like, yeah, it's totally worth it. But yes, we don't really see sets like this, I think, or at least see them less often in shorter formats. There's just no time to be like this, to kind of, well, okay, I'm 0-4 down, probably not gonna really go for it even. But anyway, while we're talking, I mean, of course, Brandon is still in the set, and we know that he can definitely come back to this. I mean, there's always that possibility in the tennis scoring system, but there's still one more set point for Zverev. Gonna be on the second serve.
Asking about Sarah Irani in the chat. Is everyone disrespecting and underestimating her? I mean, she did get a lot of love for winning the Golden Slam, right? And winning the doubles Olympic gold, and also the she beat Dolehide this year at the US Open in the second round, which was a big win. But yeah, I think just because of her serve, she gets a lot of.
I think, yeah, I mean, she's definitely a bit of a cult hero by now, rather than actually a player that everyone thinks of as someone amazing. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, doubles, she's an absolute legend.
Yeah.
Singles, though, at the moment, well, it's clear she's really far off main tour quality, even if she is still hanging around these rankings. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, she's a legend of the sport in doubles, and in singles for about 3-4 years, she was also an absolute force. So, I think she deserves a lot of respect. It's just that by this stage of her career, she is kind of like, yeah, mostly like scamming her way to wins if they're quality. I didn't see the Dolhide much, but I also don't really think that highly of Dolhide. I mean, kick out the Guadalajara points and she's like 40 spots lower down the rankings, which I think would be more accurate. And also, yeah, Keen, I laughed at the Peter Wright upset of the week. Peter Wright is a darts player who today did much better than his recent results.
So Navarro holds for 3-1. Goff with her 26th forehand unforced error. It's not great, of course.
20 what?
26.
26 forehand unforced error?
I think that's what I saw. Yeah.
Oh,
Or
shoot.
I don't know if it was. I think it was forehand only, but
I'll check on the US
it,
Open
it
website,
might
I
it might
guess.
actually be only. It might be a total. Actually, I might have that wrong, but we can double check. But she just double faulted for the 5th time in the 3rd set. These double faults are really piling up for Coco, especially in this set. That's her 5th. She's hit 13 in the whole match. Unforced errors from Coco. Yeah, it's definitely off the forehand itself. So 49 in total,
Wow.
26 with the forehand. And then 13 double faults, 10 off the backhand. So yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, I see the video you sent me now, Keen. I'm not sure from when that is. But yeah, that's probably around the time when he was trying to develop that serve technique. But honestly, the way you see him hitting it on this video, like it's not how he was doing it in matches. Even when he had that peak in, let's say, April, May 2022, that's not how he was hitting it. Like, this is just blasting it for the sake of blasting. But maybe this was the drill. Maybe this was some sort of a drill that they were doing in order for him to try to develop a weapon out of that shot. Yeah, it's just a shame. I mean, it didn't really come to be for like more than 2 months since the injuries. He's been dead. And I actually heard that like that's also what they think in his team, that yeah, just never really returned to his physical peak after the injuries. Of course, there's still a lot of time. I'm getting some Navarro Goff feed even on my Zverev Nakashima one right now.
There was an interesting question from Gil Gross today on Twitter.
I think I wanted to ask you about this. I think I know what you're referring to. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, so the question was, is Rublev and Dimitrov the best players ever to have not made a slam final? I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, if ever is, because actually it's not. I mean, it's implied that it's ever because he doesn't specify that it's active. Like, if it's active, then I think maybe alongside like Fritz and Hurkacz. But if it's not active, no.
Yeah. No, if it's not active, then who else would you go for? Because I immediately thought of Davydenko.
That's one of very obvious answers, and also Tim Henman is one of another very obvious answer. Did Tommy Haas make a final? I don't think so.
No, that's a good shout. Yeah, he got to number 2 in the world.
I mean, lots of injuries, right? But like, still, that's yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even amongst current players, I don't know if I would put Rublev ahead of those other players. Maybe ahead of Fritz.
I
I
think
don't know if
Rublev might be ahead of all of these guys, actually. I mean, with 10
Lukacs.
Grand
Yeah,
Slam
yeah, yeah,
quarters.
yeah. Yeah, I think I'd put Rublev second then. Yeah,
How
I
many
put
ATP
Dimitrov
thousands does
first.
he have won? 2 ATP thousands
Two,
won?
two, yeah, two.
Yeah, Madrid and Monte Carlo. And also he
Yeah,
made the finals in Miami
he made the
and
finals.
in now in Montreal. So I
And
guess it's
Cincinnati.
kind of like Hurkacz
Won
resume
finals.
at the ATP thousands.
Yeah,
Grigor won the ATP finals, I guess. But like, yeah, it's all comparable. It's all comparable anyway.
yeah.
But I think if we are mentioning Rublev and Dimitrov, we have to also mention Fritz and Hurkacz. Like it's
Mm.
pretty much the same level. And
Yeah.
yeah, if it's not active,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it counts.
Mm.
There's probably someone like even better that we're not thinking about from like 80s or 70s. I don't know.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, I
or
don't know.
maybe there isn't. Maybe there isn't. But yeah, I think Henman, Davydenko, they definitely come to mind.
Miroslav Michir. I don't really know too much about him, but I know
I think
he's like,
didn't he make 2 slam finals?
oh yeah, yeah, he did. You're right. Never mind then. Yeah.
I mean,
Probably
yeah, he would
something
be a good
before.
shout for like one of the best
Brad
players.
Gilbert,
Not
maybe?
in slam.
Brad Gilbert. 4 in the world, 20 titles. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess he would be in the conversation. I'm not really sure what about his best slam results, to be honest.
I think he made a semi-final. I don't know if he made more than one. I think just one.
Yeah, I don't think he did, right? I think his slam results were a little weak compared to his other parts of the resume.
Mm.
Mm, actually, he hasn't even made a semi.
He hasn't made a slam semi? Okay, then that's not.
I mean, hasn't. Maybe I should just use the past tense in his case because I don't think he will make any slam semis from here. But yeah, only 2 quarterfinals: 1987 U.S. Open and 1990 Wimbledon.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
He
because I
lost to
guess Darren
Jimmy
Cahill is the
Connors
one who made.
in 19.
Darren Cahill made a semi and Brad Gilbert didn't.
Cahill made a very random semi. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And yeah, Gilbert lost to Becker and Connors in his slam quarters. So I guess a pretty tough set of opposition. But yeah, Cahill made a pretty random semi. That's true. He's not in the conversation though. But yeah, I mean Rublev, Dimitrov. I think the tweet from Gil was a little weird. I was thinking maybe he meant active. He just didn't specify because it's clearly not. And even if we're talking about active, like yeah, I don't see a big difference between the resume of Dimitrov and some like Fritz or Hurkacz. Like sure, ATP finals, but I mean, Grigor, for all his consistency over the years, only had 1 top 10 season until probably this one, but we'll see.
It's true.
And yeah, just the fact that he has only one ATP 1000 title as well, like yeah, he's not like unanimously the best player of the generation without a slam final.
Honestly, I gotta wonder about Davydenko because you mentioned Puerta, and that was Davydenko's best chance to make a slam final. He was up 2-1 on Puerta in Roland
Yeah,
Garros, and he has that really good
because
head-to-head
otherwise
against
he would play Roger every time. So like that was his only chance. Yeah.
Yeah, he matched up really well against Rafa, particularly on hard courts.
6-5 is it in the head-to-head or something like that?
6-5, 5-1 on hard. So
yeah.
They also had one really good match on clay. I think it was like Rome, 2007 maybe.
Yeah,
One of
7-6,
those
something like that. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, Zverev right now though is on fire in this game. He just hit a ridiculous forehand winner from way behind the baseline.
Yeah, they're back after a bit of a longer break, so Vansh is right to kind of start talking about the match again. And well, it's not looking good at the moment for Brandon if Zverev finds that forehand confidence that's rarely there in his game. And well, he kind of has it again on the next point too. 3 break points for Zverev right away in this third set. Is the match just slowly getting away from Brandon? I mean, most of the matches that Zverev has played so far, they were a bit up and down, I guess. But I don't remember him winning sets like 6-1 I mean, against Edge, I guess he won one, but it was late in the match. But against Miller or Marterer, it was all a little
Yeah, this
different.
is a bit demoralizing if you're Brandon. I mean, Zverev has just come out firing in this game.
I guess he won a 6-1 set as well against Miller, but it was the third set after a very tight second. Yeah.
Navarro, by the way, 4-2 up, so keep it posted there.
Oh, maybe Brandon can still just get out of this game and not have that demoralizing start. Has already saved 2.
So we were talking about 2 years ago. He also took the first set off of Yannick Sinner in the third round there. 2 years ago. And it was kind of a similar thing where once Yannick Sinner like found his best level, he was able to separate himself after losing the first set. We'll see if Nakashima can prevent that here and save a third break point. He saved the first 2. So
And last year
Goff.
he lost to Laszlo Djere in the opening round, so time flies.
Yeah. Yeah, last year was a forgetful year in the majors.
Lost round 1 in every single one, right?
Yeah. And also didn't qualify this year because he lost to Jakub Menchik.
Yeah, in Australia, yeah. And this was pretty much the most aggressive game that we've had from Zverev so far. Just really going after these forehands. Gets the break.
Yeah.
Has really earned it this time. Like, did not get it by
No, that
playing
was,
anti-tennis.
That was a really high quality game he played to break, so he
Yeah.
really took that one.
Some reaction needed quickly.
By the way, Coco is at deuce now, serving at 2-4. So Navarro looking at trying to get a double break here. Especially as Coco is really struggling to win points on her second serve. Well, she does get a second serve return error, so keep point. Coco does find a first serve, so she holds for 4-3. It's still only one break.
And Dave is mentioning the double faults. I just had someone text me as well about the quality of the Goff serve.
Yeah. I'd say that's been the shot that's let her down the most this season, more than the forehand. She's been the second serve.
Yeah. She's kind of in the Qinwen Zheng boat, except Qinwen doesn't really double fault like that much.
Yeah.
But
she also has like a very low first serve percentage, I think, Qinwen. It's like hovering around 50% most of the time.
So that's what I mean, similar, right? I mean, the first serve percentage isn't good, but once it's in, it's massive power. It's top 5 on the circuit.
Yeah.
But if you're only landing 50%, I mean, your second serve also has to be pretty sharp.
Yeah. I'll have to check this, but I think at one point Coco had the highest double fault rate amongst the top 50.
I would not be surprised if that's the case right now. I mean, who else would it be, really? It's not Sabalenka anymore. She used to be
it's definitely not
topping
her.
that, but
she's pretty far down the list actually now. Let's see where Coco's at. Look at the current top 50. I'm going to look at just 2024 only instead of the last 52 weeks. Yeah, Coco is number 1. So she has a double fault rate of 8.5% this season.
Is
Yeah,
it a
she's
big edge over anyone else?
no. You have Kostyuk also at 8.5%. Um,
Oh, okay.
so she's number 2. Pliskova number 3. Bolter number 4. Martin's number 5. Oh, makes sense. Yeah, that matches the eye test.
Yeah, but if you
Sabalenka
actually just
goes
put it
all the way
to,
down. Wow.
because there's also the option of putting it to like a double fault per every second serve, and then she's actually
Okay.
fourth behind Pliskova, Kostyuk, and Kasatkina. But anyway, I mean, yeah, she's double faulting a ton,
Mm.
and actually her first serve in percentage is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not like Xingwen Zhang terrible. Actually, what is Xingwen Zhang's first serve percentage in? Yeah, it's pretty low. It's like 52%. It was even lower last year. So that's
Well,
been,
apparently, it's gone up quite a lot.
yeah. Coco is a lot higher at 58.2%. Hmm. Interesting.
But yeah, Kinven's second of from the bottom, just only above Samsonova, and Coco is like 10th, maybe.
What do you think about Samsonova's tournament, by the way? She was down 3-6-2-5 against Bushkova. But since then, she's looked pretty good.
I mean, my problem with that is that I basically haven't watched anything um, of Samsonova. I mean, her rivalry with Świątek seems to be pretty much a lottery in terms of whether she can win 2 games or 10 games.
Yeah. So it's a rematch of the Beijing final tomorrow.
Yeah, Beijing final, Stuttgart semi, and Dubai first round, second round. I don't remember, but yeah, obviously stylistically, she does serve a like she does actually provide issues for Świątek. It's just
Yeah.
all about the execution, and I guess about the comfort level of Świątek on these courts. I mean, in Beijing, we saw how she was able to just play very economically, cautiously, and that's the match where they did not give her an unforced error. But we know that the WTA statisticians, especially, they tend to like smoke crack quite a lot. So yeah, I mean, obviously she had at least one unforced error in that match.
So Navarro plays a good game here to hold for 5-3. A couple of backhand winners, good first serves, cross court backhand winner as well. Pretty good. She's a game away from beating Coco Gauff for the second major in a row in the same round. Very different matches, but um, let's see if Brandon can do anything on the return here in this set. All right, I'm going to switch over to talking more about the Goff Navarro match since it's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
yeah. Go do that. Go
match of
do
the year.
that. Definitely.
So
I'll
first
keep
point.
an eye on Nakashima Zverev if anything changes. Really,
So first
I'm
point of
just.
the
Mhm.
5-3 game, Coco double faults again. So yeah, she's down low 15, but she comes up with a nice first serve here. So 15-all. Hits her spot down the tee. See if she can hold to at least make Emma serve this one out. 15-all. Second serve again. And basically it's like 50-50 whether she's going to double fault or not. So let's see what happens here. That's another double fault. So 15-30. Yikes. You can almost see them coming. That's the 18th double fault for her. I'm pretty sure it's like the 9th of the set.
18th double fault. Wow.
Yeah.
Someone sent me a screenshot of an ITF match recently where a Polish player won despite having like 26 double faults or something like that.
I mean, Coco has won a match against UE1 and Indian Wells 6-4, 6-3 with 17 double faults. So
Yeah.
she does find a good forehand cross court angle here. So she's hanging on ever so tightly. It's 30-all.
Yeah, and she's won 79% on her first serve.
I think literally she's done everything pretty good this set except for the second serve, but that's a huge thing.
58 unforced errors.
Yeah, I think majority are on the forehand or double faults.
And for a player who like doesn't really
Another double fault, by the way. So that's 3 in this game. 19th of the match, 10th of the set. It's now match point. I mean, if you're double faulting 3 times in a game, like, yeah.
when Alexandrova hits 60 unforced errors, I get it, right? When Świątek did it against Vickery years back at the US Open, I get it because at least you were trying to play that aggressively, right? But
yeah, this third set has just been really ugly to watch for as far as Coco's second serve goes. Another missed first serve. It's match point. Does she hit a double fault? Or what happens? Oh, it's not a double fault, but Navarro finds a very good forehand return. And she gets the win. 6-3, 4-6, 6-3. Nice hug at the net. Although Navarro is really, really happy with this one. She's in her second major quarterfinal in a row. Team is pretty ecstatic, as they should be. And yeah, she's moving on. The defending champion is out. Interested to see where Coco is in the rankings now after dropping those points. She's of course still number 5 in the race, but where is she?
She's
at?
number 6 and gonna be number 7 unless Navarro. Gonna be number 6 unless Navarro or Zheng win the title.
Okay. I mean, that's certainly not too bad. But yeah, like her season, like I know she's 5th in the race, but I'm looking at it. You look at it more closely. She's not lost to a player outside the top 50, but she's kind of like 50-50. She's going to be the top 50 player this year.
I saw a tweet about from you about that. Yeah, it's
like I think she's
pretty telling. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, 17 and 15 against top 50 players now. So
I think it's only really well. The thing is, in Australia, she didn't really look that good to me getting to the semis, but I guess in the semis she did fine against Arena given the conditions. But the only real part of the season where she was great was Rome and Roland Garros.
Yeah, those were definitely her 2 best tournaments. I agree.
If you don't have Świątek there, she's probably winning that.
Yeah, those are the only 2 tournaments where I felt like, okay, like the quality and everything was pretty high. So, I mean, she did get to the semis of Indian Wells. She made that brief comeback against Sakari, but yeah, just eye test wise, level wise, it wasn't like Indian Wells. I mean, it wasn't like Roman Rolling Girls for sure. So
I was just looking at her results like 2 days ago, and I just remember seeing that Rome run, Garros run, and thinking, like, yeah, Iga isn't there, and it's been the same for 3 years now at the French in general. I mean, she's only losing to Iga, and it's tough to see like who else she would lose to if Swiatek went out. Of course, at the Olympics, she actually managed to go out in anyway, despite being on
yeah,
clay as well. But
yeah.
of course, it was a bit of a different event as well, in that you don't get the warm up, you don't really get the time to be prepared. I
Mhm.
mean, sure.
Yeah, I think that took a lot out of her. Like, I mean, she was also like the flag bearer. She was playing mixed. She was playing doubles. She was playing singles. It was, I think, it all just really caught up to her.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
since Wimbledon, it hasn't been good.
Brandon is like playing on autopilot right now and just losing game after game,
Oh, yikes!
making
Might have
absolutely
to.
zero impact with anything. Net approach like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Wow. Yeah, this is running away really quickly. Might have to just, yeah, just think about the fourth now. This is looking like the Sinner match 2 years ago. Well, I hope the fourth set is more competitive.
You're already thinking about the fourth set.
Yeah. Similarly, like the second set, it's kind of, yeah. The first game that Zverev played though um was going to be too much for most players. It's just yeah. I think after that, like Brandon lost a little bit of his belief. So we have Navarro versus Badosa. What are your thoughts on that? Still leaning Badosa? I am as well. So,
I
but
maybe would
it's going to
like
be kind of
Paula's
close.
chances a
Granted.
bit better against Coco. I don't know.
Yeah. The only thing is the opponents that Badosa has played so far. I mean, amongst all of them, Navarro is the best mover that she would have faced by far. So, be interesting to see how she copes with that. Yeah, Coco with 60 unforced errors, 19 of those being double faults.
Yeah, you just can't win like this. Not with her playstyle, at least. But yeah, I mean, in the end, it does turn out that, well, her chances at the title were pretty low, given how she's playing at the moment. Number 6 in the rankings. That actually feels a little harsh. I mean, she's gonna be behind Jasmine Paolini, for example. But I think in the race she's number 5 because Pegula doesn't have as many points. Of course, Pegula might as well just gain them in this event. Well, Navarro should not be as easy for Badosa to dominate as Wong was today, I think. So I guess she also won't be like out hit in the way that Rusa almost beat her. But yeah, it's definitely looking like a pretty interesting quarterfinal. Navarro, can she step up at that sort of like level that she has barely touched before? Wimbledon quarters, of course, but then she had a horrible performance in the last 8. So there's also a bit to prove for her, I think.
Yeah, she's also, I think, has a bit of a semifinal problem right now. She's like 1-7 in semifinals on the tour.
What's the one she reached? Was it the one at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, the title that she won
Yeah.
the week before Australian Open.
I think she had a WTA 125 final as well this year, but
Oh, yeah, I mean main tour level, but yeah.
I understand. Yeah. Oh, it's WTA, it's the same organization. Uh, I mean, if Emma Navarro is playing these events, then they kind of are more main tourish, right? I mean, but yeah,
Yeah.
crazy scheduler, definitely. That's what you can say about Navarro. Last year, of course, it really propelled her to new heights. But this year, when she was still playing these 21-25Ks, well
Yeah,
ranked like
they came
20.
after the early losses in Rome and stuff. She won.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to. I mean, it ended up.
Paris.
Yeah, I think it was alright because it ended up helping her
I think
later
it's
on.
fine.
But
I mean, sometimes I think that more players should be trying these events. If you lose early in Rome or
yeah,
Madrid, it's a really good chance to pick up points, really. 175 is no joke. Maybe some of them got scared off this year, though, with the point distribution as well. Just being a little less. I think it's like 90 for a final. So basically, unless you make the final, your ranking isn't really going to jump too much.
yeah,
I think last year when Shevchenko was playing Szczecin, he was ranked like 75 maybe. And I remember him saying that like it's a little different for him right now playing on the Challenger Tour because like literally to move his ranking, he needs to like make the semis at least or something like that. Otherwise, it just doesn't really feel like he's making any difference. So keeping that focus for an entire week is not easy, which makes sense. I never thought of it this way, but anyway, Brandon will get the game eventually, but it's 5-2 Zverev anyway, and he's going to serve for a 2-1 lead after the break.
yeah. I mean, I wish there was more to talk about really in these last 2 sets, but it's just
I
been
wish
so
too,
one-sided.
yeah.
Like,
It's one-sided. Brandon is kind of just, I don't know, going through the motions, and yeah, we haven't really had the most things to discuss regarding this one. Who's looking fitter, Zverev or Nakashima? I think everything is fine with the Brandon fitness, but of course Zverev is one of the most physical and fittest players on the tour. So
I guess that last service break kind of hinted at a little bit of mental fatigue, but I don't know. It was just a couple of points. I think the set was already gone before that. So
yeah,
to be honest, but
is it fair to say that Zverev has the most methodical game style against amongst top 10 players? Nurlan was asking like 16 minutes ago. Probably. He's one of the least adaptable guys.
yeah,
I mean,
I guess it's
Medvedev has a
also,
similar play style, but Medvedev obviously is a lot more unorthodox in his approach to the game.
I guess Rublev has maybe the most simplified approach.
Rublev as well, yeah. Rublev is actually a good example as
I
well.
would
Yeah,
probably say
with
even more than Zverev. Like you just know exactly what you're getting every match, at
yeah.
least from a tennis perspective. Like just balls and line inside the lines. Pretty much know what he's gonna do.
doesn't really like open up the court with them either. He's just kind of slamming every shot at the same pace.
Yeah.
Similar kind of like high target, big targets, high efficiency.
Mm.
Yeah, Rublev is also there. These two for sure.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Coco and Brad is one of those partnerships that's in jeopardy or if it's like a Maria Sakkari Tom Hill situation. I don't know.
What do you mean by Sakari Hill?
Like they just keep going and going, persevering through the ups and downs.
I mean, eventually they didn't, right?
Yeah, but it lasted like over 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So that's like longer than pretty much every other partnership on the WTA. Well,
I've
there's
been
also
saying
Pegula
throughout the
and
entire
Medvedev.
swing that I think, if Coco loses somewhat early at the US Open,
Yeah.
then it might be that Brad's days with her are counted.
Mm.
I don't know. We don't really get a
I
big
also
insight into
don't
how it goes.
really know what Brad. I mean, Brad is like a consultant slash he helps Coco prepare for uh her next opponent. Like, so he does a lot of scouting. He does a lot of the
Mental side of course as well.
yeah.
I don't
And she
know.
also has her other main coach, Sean
Just
Christine
based on
Ferrari.
some of the stuff I've seen slash heard
Yeah, I
from
think I
Brad
think
Gilbert
Wimbledon
himself.
was really rough. Like there was like between her and the box. Um, like that made me think that yeah, maybe this could be over soon if the results don't pick up.
And
But I
even
don't know if there's
last year,
anything.
even
Yeah,
last year, that match with Wozniacki, I mean, the advice that Brad is giving her,
mm,
I don't
yeah,
know. I think obviously he's a legend of the sport as well.
right.
But some of the signals that we're kind of getting is that, well, as a coach, he might not be everybody's cup of tea. And of course, it all depends on what you want. But yeah, I don't think he's really that good at like, doesn't seem like he's that good at like technical advice and stuff. I'm not saying I would do better.
Mm.
I'm just saying, yeah, the sort of info we're getting from time to time is a little like, why do you need that guy really? If that's what you, yeah, if that's what he's giving you. But yeah, again, it's only a limited scope that we have. So
Yeah, I don't know if we can really come to major conclusions, but yeah, some of those interactions were a bit telling. Let's see, Zverev in that third set won 100% of points behind his first serve and hit a bunch of winners, and yeah, just kind of everything worked. So
13 winners to
mm,
only 3 from Brandon. Very
yeah,
dominant on serve, constantly pressuring on return as well. It's looking rough. It's definitely not how we imagined this match would keep going after the first set. I mean, first of all, how many breaks we have now on the Nakashima serve too. I guess even in the first set he had to save 5 break points, but
yeah,
I don't know, just
I
didn't
would say
feel
so.
like it would fall apart like this.
Yeah, it's gone a bit too fast, but see if there's anything Brandon can do. Like a hold here would be just amazing if he can avoid going down a break right away.
Yeah, it's that Rublev, maybe it's that Rublev slash Kashnikovsky slash whoever method.
Funny you just mentioned this. My dad just texted me. Looks like Brad Gilbert will get fired soon.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean
So funny.
everyone is looking at this as a possibility. Coco went 18-1 in the North American hardcourt swing of last year, 4-3 this year, and yeah, just doesn't really seem like she can get all that much out of this one. She does still have a lot of time in terms of, because she has that slam. Like if she didn't have that US Open by now, she would probably be more like keen to take desperate steps. But I don't know. It depends on how she feels. Like as I said earlier, like I think other than Rome and Roland Garros, she hasn't really threatened to win big titles this year.
Yeah.
But the Australian Open semifinal wasn't horrible. Sure, it was mostly like a bit of a lull from Arena that led Coco into the first set, but I mean, it was a tough challenge she had to face there. She almost really created issues. So I don't know. It's definitely a mixed bag. And sometimes we are very, very harsh on her, but most of the time it's just because of the standards that we kind of come to expect from her and from a player of her potential. They are extremely
No.
tough to like live up to.
But right now, the standard of tennis that Zverev is playing has been really high, and Brandon has no answer right now, and it's love 30.
Yeah, Brandon has got issues living up to that for sure.
Yeah, this is not looking good right now. At love 30. Let's see if Brandon can come up with some first. I mean, I don't even remember a single first serve point or a sort of free point that he's gotten on serve in ages. Oh, that'll help Zverev just missed a backhand in the net. Some talk of Vukov being banned, apparently. This is
Yeah, the entire
Buckets.
day there's rumors like this on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I will say something is definitely up with Rubakina. We just don't know what the full details are because there's a lot going on there for sure.
Yeah, I
And
think
hopefully,
like when people like literally come out and say, "Well, I know something, but I don't know. I'm not gonna say," or something like that. That's where I
yeah,
lose interest. That's where I'm like, bugger off. I mean, just I will know when there's time. When it's time.
yeah. I saw a
When
tweet from the tennis connected account, which was like either you know something or you, I don't know, just
yeah.
what
That
are you
account,
trying
I
to do?
don't know, like I see it has a lot of followers, but for like a few years I had no idea it existed. And now suddenly I see it every day. And yeah, it's just a bunch of BS, honestly, like stuff like this. And then the guy tries to explain himself that like he's only saying something he heard, and I don't know, just trying to kind of put logic to why he's coming out with a statement like this, where it's obviously to farm engagement and whatever. Wasn't that the same account that asked if Świątek was gonna be number one or something? You know what I mean? The hardcore question. Um, like would Świątek be not number one if Clay wasn't there? I think it might have been the same account. But yeah, breakpoint Zverev. I think Vansh is gone for some reason. But anyway, we've got that breakpoint for the German, but he will not convert it, trying to go a little bit too precise on this angle. Who else today is gonna get into the bed wishing that they are gonna wake up to news of Sabalenka losing to Mertens? Not me, Nurlan. I mean, I think Arena staying in the event is definitely good for it, for the star power. Anyway, Brandon survives. So Vansh got his wish regarding the hold for Brandon at the start of this fourth set. And while John has already said that this match is done, or sorry, our producer has already said that this match is done, John Blom, our producer, uh, said that this match is done. Um, we actually still have Brandon on serve in the fourth set, despite that early break. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think Craig Shapiro might have reliable connections and be a reliable source. I think he's a very good interviewer as well. But I don't know. I'm just not really interested in all the as he's trying to stir up, constantly. Like, I don't know, some of his takes are just outrageous. I don't know if he does it on purpose or not. Maybe to an extent. I probably say it's not. And the way he's just interacting with people, just treating them like, they're vermin, and he's basically the king of the world because he knows one or two people in tennis. Yeah, just people who act like this, who kind of presume to be at a privileged position because of their involvement. I mean, we're all just working here, right? If someone is
Right.
working at a gas station, and they're not going to be sitting there and thinking, oh yeah, I'm better than that client who just came in with my Lamborghini. And like, I don't know, it's just a
Sorry, what are
job.
we talking about? I
Nothing. I just
didn't
started
know.
ranting about entitlement of certain people. Anyway,
Okay.
not
I
much
see
to
that
not much
Brandon
to
held
add.
though. How
Brandon
did he
held.
hold
He
for
saved the break
Title?
point actually, so that was very important.
Okay, so he's still alive. Oh, I think I know who this person is that you're talking about in the comments, or you might have been referring to earlier.
Yeah, I was talking
Okay.
about that. No, to
Yeah,
her, no, to him. It's him.
it's a him. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, okay, I misunderstood you. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't all negative. I praised him for a couple of things as well, but I was just trying to say I'm not interested in all the
Yeah.
BS he's trying to like stir up and create some sort of wars, and the cocky entitlement doesn't really fall right with me either. But anyway, speaking of some and individuals who can be a bit cocky at times, and in fact, some would say are always very cocky, Alexander Zverev is, backing it up with his game the last two sets. And, forehands like this, he was not hitting them in the opener. So we are basically at, almost close to that start of the night session or evening session, however they call it. And of course, that will be Tiafoe against Popirin. That's a good match as well. I'll probably stay up to watch that one, and I'll probably skip the women's action later.
What do we
I don't
have?
think I'm
We
gonna
have
stay up for Vekic.
Mertens and Sabalenka doesn't sound like it has an epic written over it. Beckett
Yeah,
and Jarry.
Nurlan was saying he was gonna go to bed and hope that he wakes up to a Sabalenka loss. I will go to bed, check
Good
the
luck with that.
results the moment I'm up, and I will have no reaction to it, I think. But I mean, Sabalenka is looking so strong. Mertens is a player who can definitely beat you if you're off your game, though. So all it takes is one bad day at the office, and Alice Mertens is probably beating you.
Yeah. By the way, it's Zverev's forehand right now. Holy moly.
Yeah. What a point here. I mean, this is like Juan Martin del Potro, just injected himself into the veins of Alexander Zverev for a couple of minutes. Not even a couple of minutes by now.
So you
But yeah, I mean,
watch Zverev play like this at times, and you're like, yeah, like he obviously has the game to win a major. It's just
this is when you realize, that it's not game. It's all mental, really. Why he still hasn't won one. I'm also not super crazy. I'm not gonna tell you that he should have 5 majors in his collection or something like that.
no.
There are issues with his game, obviously, but I think that's clearly as evidenced by the Australian Open this year, by the US Open in 2020. A lot of it is just simply not being able to step up
Oh
in
my
the right
goodness.
moments, not having that
I mean,
innate
the
confidence
thing is,
in
he's
his
just peaked
forehand.
at the start of every single set after losing the first set. Like if you just look at the first return game that he's played, sets 2, 3, and 4. I'm not sure what Brendan can do. I mean, making more first serves in this game would have helped, sure, but He's had
I
like
mean,
two really good
Brandon is
behinds.
like completely subdued by him since the start of the second set. I
Mm.
don't know. I mean, you don't really see Brandon trying to break out of it either. Like, I think he's just kind of letting Zverev take the initiative and go with it. Like, I don't know. I would like to see Brandon risk a bit more of the ground, try to get to the net, try to play to his strengths, which right now he's not. I mean, right now he's just really
Well, right
out
now
there hitting.
he's kind of reacting and he's on the back foot and not really able to.
He's playing the Zverev game from the first set. You know, he's
Yeah.
out there, he's hitting balls, and that's it. Like there's nothing more.
Mm.
Of course, Zverev doesn't have to make this ridiculous volley here, sure, but I mean, most of the time you're still gonna lose this point. And well, we now have Zverev up a break in the fourth set. And it's not looking good for Nakashima. It's not been looking good for Nakashima for the last 70 minutes or so. I am somewhat disappointed. I understand Zverev is playing much better. I understand he's got the forehand confidence range now, sure. But I am somewhat disappointed in how Nakashima has been handling this because, yeah, I just don't feel like we've had any reaction since the second set began, right? Just letting him
Yeah.
walk all over, walk all over him,
Like
really.
what?
Like this.
How did he save the break points in the first game?
Zverev went for an angle on the back and down the line that was a little too wide. Um, it wasn't a horrible effort. Like it wasn't the points completely for free, but it wasn't anything like spectacular from Brandon either.
Let's see if Brandon does a few more changes a few more things up. Well, he tried to do something here, but well, he's sort of being forced every time he comes forward to hit like these half volleys, Try to finish at net, but you just pop it up like that. He's come to the net 3 times. He's won 1 point in this set. Whereas like Zverev is just coming in off of a really strong approach.
Yeah, I mean, at least that was something, I think desperation that Brandon might be feeling right now, like that's actually something that can help him out a little bit in this match.
He
Just
does seem
because
to have
this
also
is
hit a bit of an energy lull. I would say midway through the third, especially the second break that he lost, and then also just seems like he doesn't really believe in the chances
oh yeah,
of
it doesn't seem like he believes at all.
Yeah.
In fact, it seems like literally the first break in the
Oh
second
yeah,
set.
that is a
he's
bit
been-
disappointing, but
Yeah.
hey, I guess I can just praise his run to the fourth round and winning the first set, and then after that, just
It's a good run, of course. I mean, we'll see. Still not over. Of course, there's the famous saying, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I really think that's what Brandon should be doing right now. I don't know, just going out of his way to be aggressive, because otherwise, yeah, he's just...
it seems like he's kind of just worked Zverev into form. That's what it feels like. By winning that last game of the first set, and Zverev taking like missing his first 8 breakpoint chances. By the time he got his ninth, it seems like he just rose and rose in confidence, and simultaneously Nakashima's belief was sapped.
Yeah,
Right now
he's not... he doesn't believe at all right now, and it's just kind of uncomfortable to watch in general because, well, if you don't believe in yourself, who is going to believe in you?
Yeah, it's really the total opposite of the fourth set against Bassetti, where I was like really like, okay, we're going to a fifth set, but he dug deeper than I've ever seen him dig.
Yeah, he didn't feel helpless there.
From 2 weeks back, and he had the whole crowd on his side, so much energy. It was a night match, Massetti with the flashy shot making. This, I feel like he's just been bored to death, and the crowd has been bored to death. And
that's actually something that kind of works for Zverev a lot of the time.
He does.
Right?
He loves making matches boring. Like that's his trademark.
Yeah.
like that kind of play from the baseline of
This point here, yeah, just super controlled. There's no shot that's gonna make you gasp, but there's also like no shot that is close to the line. There's nothing that is risky. It's just more brutal efficiency. And yeah,
and
right now it's just so hard for Nakashima to
talking
find a
about
way back.
matches that are fun to watch. Obviously, contrast of style is a big thing. This match, you don't really have that. It's more just like intrigue of like, oh, Nakashima's playing really well. Let's see how much he can push Zverev. Whereas the Musetti match, I mean, that's like real contrast in style. So that made it such a fun watch, just as a neutral. Whereas this one, I could see
Well, Bunch, I mean, are you really a neutral?
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, as if somebody was, if somebody just like didn't know
Okay,
anything,
okay.
or wasn't like that invested in the outcome. I guess at this point, like, it's no secret. Like, I'm pretty invested in the outcome when it comes to Brendan, in general. So, yeah. Could also have two San Diegans in the quarterfinals. But I guess now we have Fritz, so we do have the rematch of Zverev and Fritz in Wimbledon.
Southern California, extremely strong. And I think the last time Fritz played the Southern Californian at the US Open, he lost.
That's right, against Brandon Holt.
Yeah. By the way, Zverev, did you see that? He, well, took like a wrong step, something like that. Like, yeah, looked relatively scary on the replay. I mean, could have twisted something, but he's back playing and, well, dumping a very easy backhand into the net. But it doesn't seem like it's anything major. No, it's been a big run for Nakashima, that's for sure. Not always easy to keep going like this mentally. But yeah, obviously this is another one of these must-win games where the match pretty much ends if he doesn't take it. And that's the Coco Gauff disease spreading over to Brandon from Arthur Ashe.
Mm.
In case anyone, doesn't understand what I'm talking about, I was just thinking about a double fault for Brandon.
Yeah. Well, it's disappointing for sure after the first set.
Oh, shoot. Zverev rivaling Nakashima for the best backhand of the down the line the entire match. Nakashima's submission being the one that he had to like save a break point, was it? Yeah, I think it was to save a break point in the 19-shot rally in the last game of the first set. But I think this one was a bit better. I guess Brandon's was more important though.
Yeah. So set 1, Zverev made 14 unforced errors, hit 9 winners. Since then, since he lost the first set, he has hit 38 winners. And let's see how many unforced. 38 winners and 15 unforced errors. So, yeah, I kind of just tells the whole story right there. Also, I don't think he's lost a single point in the net. In sets 2 and 3, he was 13 out of 13 at the net. And in this set, he's 5 out of... So he's been 18 out of 18 at the net after losing the first set. Holy cow.
Ghosty coming up with some good rumors. And Keen, as usual, with some big questions. If I met the love of my life, but she told me to give up tennis for her, what would I do? Presently, I think it would be more important for me to keep doing what I'm doing. And probably bros over hoes. but yeah, that's it really. And also, what player surprises you the most with how few aces they hit, and what player surprises you the most with how many they hit? Aaron Mayo for the ace percentage, maybe that big one. Even though his serve isn't that impressive, like just good ace rate, not that many points won after the first serve actually. And low, I don't know.
Swiatek?
Swiatek hits quite a lot of aces sometimes.
Does she? I wouldn't say so.
I mean, like a standard number for the women's game and for the quality of her saver, I think.
Yeah, I mean, her serve has other qualities, but I wouldn't say aces is one of them.
Nah,
She has
it's
a
not.
very low ace rate. It's like
I just don't know if it
bottom of the
surprises
top
me.
100.
That's the part I'm not clear. Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't hit that many, but does it surprise you?
Oh yeah. Then
I guess we would have to go for like a
big.
big player, just a tall guy who doesn't actually serve all that well. But I don't know if there's anyone right now. Echeverry, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good shout. There was one other name I was thinking about it.
I don't think Del Potro was hitting that many aces.
Well,
despite
Corda
his...
before this year, I would have said.
Okay.
But this year he's like improved that part of his game.
I think Zverev still hits a reasonable number, despite going for pretty safe targets with the first serve. There was a time when Opelka kind of wasn't at the same type of ace rate as Isner. I think he got there at some point and is pretty much staying around that as well.
How tall is Sarundalo? He doesn't hit. His serve is not really a weapon.
Doubt he's as tall as Echeverry is. Yeah, it says 185. Do you know 185 or should I put it in inches?
What is that, like 6'2", 6'3"? How much? Let's see, 6'1".
6'1", I guess.
Yeah.
Well, more super precise forehands from Zverev as he goes 5-1 up.
Yeah. This is not really great in terms of... It's not the match that I thought it would end up being. Reminds me of the Sinner Nakashima match 2 years ago, where like Nakashima comes out, plays amazing, wins the first set 6-3, like continues playing really well, like halfway through the second set, and then Sinner just like once he got one break, the match was just done. Like,
yeah, there's a fair few favorites against underdogs matches like this recently. You've got Djokovic against Jerry last year at the US Open. You've got Djokovic against Sinner at Wimbledon. My only Djokovic comes to mind. Sinner against Fucsovic in Australia last year. where like you go down 2 sets or you go down 1 set and suddenly like one game just totally ends the match. Of course, you don't maybe know it at the time that it's going to last like this until the end, but yeah, it's just total domination. And I really don't like how Brandon has reacted, or rather not reacted to this.
Yeah, I mean this. Oh, even that went in. Oh, I think Nakashima finally hit a winner there. Forehand pass. Even that looked very close to being out. Just looking at the replay again. Yeah.
Yeah, just seeing the point.
Yeah, I think my stream has gotten ahead since my internet went
Yeah,
out.
it did get ahead like at some point, and actually pretty far ahead. But since we're very close to ending the match, I'm not really gonna do anything about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Brandon at least holds.
Yeah, Zverev barely missing that last backhand cross, but of course it's still 5-2. Gonna serve for the match after the break. Got 2 chances at least. And we still haven't had that fire from Nakashima, where like he really shows us he's back in this. No, in like team sports, I think it happens sometimes that like you kind of expect the captain of your team to just give that sort of sign, to the rest of the guys that yeah, we can fight. Yeah, let's keep going with some sort of individual action or something like that. Here you don't really have that, and you have to do it all for yourself. And I don't know, Nakashima would really have to, I think, be injected with something around the middle of set 3 to keep fighting here. And I'm not saying, PEDs, but I'm just saying something that would get his dopamine going, or just,
Yeah.
get him a bit more in the game.
I mean, the thing is also he's gotten no help from his opponent since the start of the second set, and I feel like just the combination of the two, it's just been brutal. It's like what's that, like a wrecking ball that you can't slow down. Oh, what's the phrase? It's like I'm forgetting what the phrase is. I guess we haven't really seen Brandon play against other top players that often. I mean, we've seen him play Rublev, we've seen him play Zverev now 3 times.
Yeah, he beat Rublev this year. I guess that's still his best win, or
Yeah. And Runa maybe last year in the Shanghai match.
oh yeah, Rune. No, I mean technically ranking wise, it's Rune Shanghai, but yeah, I would say Rublev was probably better.
Yeah. Oh, we've seen him play Medvedev. He played Medvedev in Indian Wells last
He
year.
played Rublev as well this month, right? Or like last month,
Yeah.
because we already have the
Yeah, he played
first
him
and second.
twice. One of the matches was more competitive. The Cincinnati match was more competitive than the Toronto match for sure. But
He played Alcaraz, but it was like ages ago.
yeah, 3 years ago on clay in Challenger in Portugal.
Yeah. Oeiras, the third
Right.
challenger in Oeiras that year out of
Yeah,
four.
lucky one of the best matches of the clay season right there.
Very possible. It was like the second round, maybe. And then
Yeah.
Carlos won the title.
Yeah. Although he found something there on the backhand, and he's at 15-30. Perhaps a small opening here for a break back. Second serve as well here at 15-30.
In case anyone was desperate for an upset from there, Gonzalez Molteni did beat Popana Ebden in 2. And also, Donald Young is not the only player finishing his career at the US Open. That was also Tyson Kwiatkowski, but he's also just lost in the mixed.
Oh.
So that's it for his career. Pretty early, about like 29, 30. Also, Wookie was calling Coco against Navarro the anti-commercial for WTA.
Oh, Zverev again with a really good forehand angle. Another two really good forehands, second serve points. We're like Brendan, he tried to be more aggressive on the return or inject some more pace in his shots, but Zverev just had the answers. So it's match point.
Thank you, Ghosty, for the fun fact. I appreciate it. Didn't know that actually.
Another big. This time he goes big on the second serve, and Brendan can't get the return back. So it's game, set, match. Zverev in the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open for the second year in a row. He will take on Taylor Fritz. And that they've had some good matches in the past. Fritz and Zverev. It's been a
Wimbledon.
pretty close rivalry. So
Very recently, Wimbledon. Zverev may be hampered a little bit by the knee injury, but still a good comeback for Taylor. I think Zverev is definitely the favorite. It's not by a large margin, though. It's definitely the closest match he's had so far, obviously. Has lost
5-4
3 sets.
5-4 is the head-to-head, by the way, for Zverev. Their first meeting was way too early in Fritz's career. Zverev was more established by then. 2016.
When was it?
Washington.
When was it?
2016 Washington.
2016 Washington. Okay, that's the Monfils Karlovic final. But I think Zverev went pretty okay. Did pretty okay there as well.
Yeah. So would be their 10th meeting. Of course, Zverev goes in as a favorite for sure, but I think it's good. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a much bigger test than any of his matches so far.
Yeah, today was supposed to be a test. I mean, he also dropped a set to Marterer. He dropped a set to Echeverry, but it's felt reasonably routine still compared to most Zverev Grand Slam runs. But yeah, first set was okay. from Brandon. He was serving much better than later, or maybe it was Zverev just not returning yet at that super high level. I don't know. It just felt a bit more lively. He was attacking a bit more, getting to the net where he's also really strong. The way he saves these break points, right? You've got that 19-shot rally. He goes down the line with his backhand, beautiful winner. He goes for the serve and volley and gets great touch on the first one. And I don't know, it just dies completely in the next three sets, which I think,
Yeah.
yeah, just the extent of the capitulation that we got from Brandon. That's something he might be a bit disappointed with. That's something I definitely
Yeah.
feel a little disappointed with.
Sure. But I think also bigger picture, great tournament,
Oh
really good
yeah,
run. To be two top 20 players, you know, we'll remember the
got you
first
to
set
say
in
Brandon
Canada.
Nakashima baby twice.
Yeah, not today, but I got to say it twice. Yes, every time he beats a top 20 player, I write in our WhatsApp group chat, Brandon Nakashima baby. So it's become a thing now, and yeah, hopefully that will keep being a thing for the rest of the year as we get to see him play against more top 20 players. And this also means that Zverev is now number two in the race, by the way. So he moved ahead of Carlos. Um,
All right, yeah, because he has to get to the semis to be number two after the U.S. Open, regardless of anything else.
I think he's already number two.
Yeah, but no, because Novak went out. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, I was still talking about the stats sort of pre-Novak eliminated,
Yeah,
and
I know.
that's well, of course, Novak and Carlos went out since. So yeah,
Yeah,
tennis moves on, baby, says Dave, and he's right. Yeah, Popyrin
yeah,
against Tiafoe very soon. I think a question like who wins there is pretty much impossible to answer. You've got
yeah.
two extremely confident players at the moment. And
Who's
of
slightly
course, there's
leaving
also
Francis just with
uh-huh.
the swagger that he's got back and the crowd and also the
Mhm.
way he finished the Shelton match should give him a lot of confidence. Popper and also trying to back up a really big win, which is, tough. So I'm giving him a slight edge, but very marginal.
Yeah, the odds I'm seeing right now have them pretty much 50-50. Maybe Popperin like a 50 points
Yeah,
to 49.8. I'm a little surprised. I think I would put Francis as a small favorite as well.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just tough to see Alexei going down easily now. And so it is for Francis as well.
yeah,
Just the way he performed mentally against Shelton as well compared to 2023 was pretty incredible, and he's definitely flying right now. But yeah, we're entering that stage of the event where we're gonna have a lot of these matches where, like, for both guys, it's such a massive opportunity that can also kind of play tricks on them. But yeah, Zverev Fritz is probably the quarterfinal everyone expected. Dimitrov against Tiafoe Popyrin will not be that. So there's a fresh quarterfinal, and there's a little bit of a tired one, but also nothing insane. And yeah, there's also going to be two women's matches coming up today later. Elis Mertens, Arina Sabalenka, Kinven Zheng, Donna Vekic. For
yeah.
now,
Rematch of the Olympic gold final. So
rematch of the Olympic gold final. Yeah, Mertens Sabalenka playing for like the 10th time as well. So some pretty fun matches. I'm probably gonna try to catch Tiafoe Popyrin, do some work in the meantime, but we'll see how it goes. I do feel kind of tired as well, but
yeah,
yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it from us. I'm not sure there's any more talking tennis content coming today. Probably not, right? Yeah.
probably not. Yeah,
So just tune into the channel, guys. Tomorrow, of course, we're gonna be back for you, and yeah, keep talking tennis, reach 10K to prove me wrong before the end of the US Open. Then we're going to have that whole conversation. When does the US Open actually end? Does it end with the last ball of the final? Does it end when midnight strikes in New York on the day of the final? I don't know. But well, anyway, we'll see. Hopefully, just get 200 followers by like tomorrow, and then we know. But yeah, also yeah, you can check out the Porto and Seville content that John is going to be posting as well. And yeah, Thank you, guys. I like that Popperin said that the Djokovic win wasn't his best win. He's pretty cool and has been playing great, says Dave. Yeah, that was quite interesting to hear him say that he doesn't actually feel that he played all that well. I think it was a more impressive performance than the Botic one over Alcaraz. But yeah, of course, Popperin right now clearly expects a lot out of himself, and maybe he's right. Yeah, anything left to add?
Nope. I think we covered it. So we'll
If
probably
not,
have more streams tomorrow, and we still have 7 days to get about 191 more subscribers. So, 20
yeah,
per day, 25 per day, 30 per day.
more or less.
Do
Yeah,
it. Why
I
not?
think it's very close. I think it's very close. Yeah, it's probably gonna be a good race. So if you have an aunt that kind of likes tennis, go ahead. If you have someone in your family, like I don't know, with Alzheimer's, for example, I have a grandmother. You can use her phone and subscribe Talking Tennis as well. It's all possible. The possibilities are endless. The options are there for you to kind of help us out like this. I don't know if it actually helps us out, greatly, if it's going to be like a dead subscriber. Not dead in the literal sense, but like dead in the sense that they're not going to be watching anything. Anyway, this is really not a place for that. So yeah, on that amazing news, we are going to finish for today. Thank you, Vansh. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Alexander Zverev, have to say, sets 2 and 4, you did very well today. So congrats to you. Taylor Fritz, next up. Brandon, congrats on the run. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Not Fritz and not Zverev and Nakashima. I probably won't see them soon. But you, the producer, and everyone in the chat, I'll probably see you soon.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.